33.
I had them, I always had them for my helmet and stuff.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought at least it I don't mean it to be sort of cheeky, but, you know, first instincts, people in a wheelchair, you know, you're going, right, there must be something wrong with them, you know. Because obviously when you're younger and you see wheelchairs, you're like, okay, not sounding like really horrible, but, you know, sometimes you see people that maybe have, I don't know, mental issues, and I'm like, I don't want people to look at me and think that, so try and make the wheelchair a wee sporty looking that, you know, people aren't going, right, well, I know there's something wrong with him, you know, that type.
So, get you wee beads and all.
Well, funny, I had to get these wheels to make her look fancier too.
Oh, really?
And flip me, I spent £1,000 on them.
What?
Yeah, and look at them. You could buy 4 alloy wheels.
They look like wee, like, you know, wee MX hubs.
They're supposed to be, they're carbon spokes, so they're supposed to make it like, for wheeling, that it wasn't so rattly or vibrating, because at the start, if I had went over rough ground, my legs would have been bouncing all over the place, you know, spasming.
Yeah.
So I got them.
Oh, it gives you a bit of flex.
To hopefully take that away. Now, whether it does help or not, I got them and used away at them, and I was like, at least it'll look a wee bit sportier than that side of the hospital, that one. You know, they're running the basic stuff, you know, so it was just to spice it up a wee bit.
Yeah.
You know, but
Are we doing the introduction normally, or
we'll just keep her going?
We'll just keep her going.
Just keep her going, Pete. Aye, we can cut that bit out. Yeah, we'll just keep chatting.
Well, we normally done like an introduction thing, but it wasn't really. It was nearly sounding cheesy, so we're just trying to get it a bit more like fine tune it.
Okay.
Wayne Garrett, welcome, buddy. Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Thank you very much for coming, man.
Get a night out of the house.
Away
from the norm.
Away from the norm, looking after children.
Yeah, getting them into bed and then getting a bit of TV viewing. Maybe that's a sign of getting old. When you're talking about a highlight is get the flipping curtains closed, get the heat on and get the TV on.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
No, not that I used to like that sort of thing, but now, hitting the good old age of 40, you're starting to think, yeah, this is the life now.
It's coming nice.
Yeah, living the dream.
And it's a young boy you have, isn't it?
Oh, aye.
And we're going motorbike racing soon, do you reckon?
I hope not.
No.
Like I say, I never would stop him doing what he wants if he comes to it. But I always laugh and joke and say to people, I'm sort of going down the road of something where there's a manager required and there's a good cut to be made, you know, so maybe a golfer or something.
Yeah,
you know,
someone with a bit of money. And
well, I'll take I don't know, even 10%. I'd be happy enough if he gets to sign some big contract, but no, my luck, he probably want to do something like bikes where you'll be going out with your begging bowl looking for flipping sponsorship to get him at it, but we'll soon see. At the minute, if I was going out to do a bit of coaching or stuff, he's, like last Saturday I was out and I want to bring my Revy, and he's his helmet and his goggles, and he's flying around the field in the Revy, you know, and pump tracks and everything else. We're flat out at the minute doing laps.
Brilliant.
Aye, so it's
nearly inevitable. What's going to happen, is it? Or
the interest is already there.
Well, it is, because funny, at Christmas time, we took him a few months before Christmas, and we were at a track one day, and a fella had a Revy, and I was like, he wanted to get a go on it, and he sort of. The wife held on to him and he went across the field, but I sort of thought, nah. And he went on and on. I want a Revy, and I thought, I can't see him wanting a Revy, but we'll get him one anyway. So Santa brought the Revy, and from Christmas Day, I want to go out in my Revy. And every day he wants out in the Revy, and started
what
out.
age is he?
He's only 2, he's coming 3. He'll be 3 coming here in April.
Wow.
Right.
And I laughed because obviously I said, do you want it fast or slow? Fast, and I thought, no.
Straight away.
And he took off up the flipping driveway in this speed wall, and I thought, no, and he came back, he goes, maybe slow first. And I says, that's alright. So I knocked it on slow, took him to like a BMX track, and it was slow. He was paddling around, he couldn't get up, you know, flipping going.
Yeah.
So straight away up on the fast mode, and away he went.
Yeah.
Flipping nearly out over the top of banks and everything, and
Is there a wee Revy class happening at the
aye,
moment?
there is up in McGilligan. They do, I think, is it 3 or 4 they start them? I can't remember what age it is, but here I'm sort of I'll stick to the BMX track now and again, hopefully, and see if he wants to go down another route first.
And then we things will make it up the hills and all right, like this. The hills.
I tell you what,
I think
tabletops.
like, I think there's a lot of people
that there's only like the entry level one, and it does. I think the fast mode does 10 or 11 miles an hour.
Which
somebody a 2-year-old flying along and doesn't know where the brake is.
Not idle off the ground.
Exactly. He comes along and just sticks his feet down like 2 plows. He's going through fucking shoes like nobody's business. And I keep saying use the brake.
Yeah.
And he's puts the feet down like 2 flipping skis.
Good lad.
Going through Skechers.
Going through shoes.
Flip me. I don't know. I need a flipping shoe sponsor. So if only you could fit mine. The soles of mine are like brand new. None of my shoes ever. You see them underneath, you think they're straight off the fucking showroom floor.
Is that right?
Gareth's tires used to look like that as well.
Only half of them.
The middle bit.
The middle bit.
So Wayne, what we like to do, seeing these podcasts, is like we want to go back to day dot. Like,
no bother.
Obviously, you've been racing. You were racing for like over 20 years. Like, so we're talking about your young fella starting about 2 or 3. When did you kind of start?
It's funny. People, I know there's people in bike racing couldn't tell you what they'd done or the results were last week, last year, whatever. I'm the type of person I can remember every flipping.
Oh, have we got a fellow anorak here?
God!
Like, I mean,
class.
My granddad used to come from I started racing the first day right through to more or less the last year racing and videoed me racing.
Did he?
Yeah, so I have boxes and boxes and boxes of TV or videos, and then on the DVDs, and Saturday nights I always were straight home, granda home, do a bit of editing, straight out videos, DVDs.
Brilliant.
I would have watched it Saturday night, Sunday, Monday. So I could have told you, put one on now, I can still tell you. I remember what I got in that race, and if I put it on and going, hey, that's such and such a day, so that wasn't a good day. On the next one. Flick that one off on to the next one. Do you know? So I do have a fairly good sort of memory of show me a lap and I'll tell you where it is, what year it is, and when it was.
Class.
Brilliant.
And so what year did you start?
Well, I started in 1993, believe it or not.
93.
And I was obviously first year. I can even tell you exactly the field and track that I'd done my first. It was in Killalay, and it was MCCNI. It must have been like a Barley Stubble race or something. And I had got a 60 that year for Christmas, a wee KX. But I don't know how it came about, but my wee brother had a PW. So I ended up going racing in his PW.
Right.
Whether it was like, right, no, do a year in this to learn the ropes or what. But I was this height riding a PW out against these lambs that were faster. And so the only chance I ever had was in the wet days.
Yes.
I used to be able to win the wet races because I put the both feet down. And these boys had too much power and couldn't ride them.
Yeah.
So I started in 93 outside Killalay, first race. And from that, I think.
And what age were you?
7.
You were 7?
No, it was a 6. I think it was 6 turning 7.
Yeah.
Whenever I started. And then I done that year in the PW and then straight up to the 65s, and that was it. Every flipping weekend after that was bikes and more bikes.
Brilliant.
And did your brother ever race, or did he just have the P?
No, he had it, and he was
Jason, is it?
yes.
Yeah.
He 4 years younger than me.
Oh right.
So obviously he was a bit young because I had 7, so he was only like 3 at the time. Whenever I would have been sort of riding his bike, so he was just messing about. So he was always like them years behind me. So I think he started, when he was 5 or 6. And by that stage, I think I would have been. I was in the 80s then, because I done 1 year in the 60s, 94, and then I straight up to the 80s. I went in 80 at 8, and spent the first year riding around at the back.
Yeah.
Why I had done it, I don't know, because obviously I could have stayed down, but no, we went on up.
You wanted to progress,
and we went and got a Yamaha, which was probably the biggest 80 to have at the time.
Right. Okay.
So I jumped on this bike, a wee 8-year-old squirt that couldn't reach the ground, and
that
rode
thing was
around.
probably an animal, was it?
Oh, it was. It was just. Didn't even finish the year on it. I was battling for about last every week. Halfway through the year, back then the bike to have was a Suzuki. So
yeah,
get rid of the Yamaha, got a Suzuki, and things slowly got better that year, and then a wee bit better next year, and then from 97 on I was still in the 80s at that point. So he would have been racing then, and started to rack up a few race wins by that stage.
Started to climb.
And was the schoolboy motocross scene over here healthy at that stage?
Well, it seemed to be anyway, whether you're at that age you think it is or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remembered back then I started doing British Championships in 97, and there would have been 15, 20 guys going from here every round. And I don't know, back then, like most of the ones that were going, on all the different classes. Like people were going from here and finishing worst top 15.
Yeah.
Like everybody, you know,
Yeah.
in each class you would have had 2, 3 in the top 5, top 6, but most people going were in that top 15.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it seems to be
who
a
would
bit
you have been racing against? Was there any kind of...
well, I mean, back then there was a couple of kids. Well, Brian McKenzie and Jamie Law would probably be the two that continued right through into the adults that I was started always racing, you know, in the same era as them. But even back then, yes, they were front runners, but there was other kids like tipped to be world champions, but I don't know, I suppose it's like everything. There's good and then they disappear.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell you 5, 6 different names that were all
real hot
shots.
Yeah.
And then they sort of just fizzled out.
Yeah.
You know, in my era, there wasn't a mass amount of them that actually went on to do adult British Championship racing. Other than really Brian McKenzie and Jamie Law would have been two that sort of stuck out that were front runners. Another one I suppose that grew up with me that you boys would probably know of was Kieran Clark.
Yes, Kieran Clark, yeah.
I raced Kieran Clark, the 80s, 100s and 125s.
Yeah, he ended up being a British bike rider.
Yeah, because he rode for, was it Ron Haslam? Helped him, or
yes, that's
it was something
right.
to do with Ron. He was always on the Bridgestone Honda back in the youth days, because it was 2000 Desert Martin. It was me and him basically going for the overall over here at the last round of the British that year. Do you know, and I suppose to my bad side, I just wasn't fit enough. Because at home the tracks didn't get rough enough. And not that the racing wasn't as competitive, let's say, but I mean, I could win, not saying, no, like some Billy Big Balls, but I think if I got beat at home that year, it was something wrong.
It was a bad day. Like.
So whenever you went there was competition for the full. Some days I flipping ran out of puff near the end. And that was Kieran Clark that day at Desert Martin won. He won all 4 of them. And I had like 2 seconds, a third and a 6th or something. You know,
because you had to push to the limit every time. Like.
Because I led 2 or 3 of them, and once he passed me, it's like
you're blown out of your hole.
White flag here, get me an oxygen pack. You know?
But
I suppose that's just the way it was over here. There's just not enough competition, not enough good tracks, and they don't cut up enough. So you're sort of up against it unless you are getting away. But things have changed now, you know, where I suppose over here now is not looked at as being the old, let's race at home to help develop to go there. Everybody thinks they need to be over there. So they're all running over there.
But the competition's
what's
still
your
high.
opinion? We do see it in our kind of side of racing where there's people who kind of, you know, try to get to England, in my opinion, before, you know, kind of running before they can crawl, if you know what I mean.
100%.
Do you think that people even in the motocross scene should be, you know, dominating over, like in the local scene before they should go over the British, or do you think the other way around?
No, 100%. Well, this is just my thought, whether I'm right or wrong. Back whenever I was growing up, it was like, right, why are we going chasing something in England if we can't win at home? So it was like, right, win at home, and I waited until I was winning at home, then right, let's go looking for something else. So then go over there, you know. And I mean, it's even like nowadays you hear guys saying, oh, I'm going to do the British, and you know, that's, everybody has their own opinion, but I'm kind of looking and going, you know, if you're going and doing an odd round, which I've seen different ones doing, you know, from adults to youth, and you're 10, 12 seconds a lap off the guy that's winning, you're kind of going, what are you looking to get out of this?
You're demoralising yourself more than anything.
But I think listening to some people talk, they think if I go there and try and compete, that mentally it's going to make them better. You know, you want to be part of that circus, but you're not really fitting in. And it can only be demoralising you. I mean, even for me, like whenever I hit the adults, at that time, you know, I was always told, like, we've done the British through the schoolboys, you know, we're always in that top 5, top 6. But what's the point in going to England unless we can beat everybody in the adults at home?
Correct.
So I spent the first, 3-4 years racing at home and trying to win here before going and looking for something else, as in that next level. Whereas, you know, I know you could say nowadays the sport over here's, I don't know, I look at it and just think, you know, that I could probably ride around a quad and finish in the top 6 near. And that's not being cheeky towards anybody. You know, 15, 20 years ago, you know, there was 6, 8 guys that could have won races and all could have been in the top 10 in England.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, most of the guys that are sort of at the sharp end now at home probably would struggle to finish in the top 15, 20.
And what do you think the reason is for that?
I don't know. I think, you see, because there used to be more competition at home, so you effectively did get a race at home. Whereas, you know, the guys that are sort of, let's say, the best in this country that don't really race at home.
Right, okay.
So the ones that are at home that are winning, don't get me wrong, they're riding fast.
Yes.
And then say you get a race that the other guys that don't normally be at home are at home.
Yeah.
The ones that are here all the time aren't far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But things have progressed to the point where most of the tracks at home now, and this is not sort of saying anything bad about the tracks or who's developing them or landowners or one thing or another. The tracks, to me, a lot of them are still very much in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like that 1990s, 2000 era where it was all about throttle control, hard, slick tracks. The rest of Europe and America and everywhere else is into this ripping tracks up to make them ruddy and more technical. Whereas you'll not find that track over here.
No.
They're like concrete.
They haven't
Yeah,
changed.
No.
it's just
And the
backwards a
problem
wee bit.
is you can ride at home and bring any of them guys from England and you'll not be a kick in the arse slower than them.
No.
But when you go into their territory, you're lost.
You have no
Yeah.
chance.
It's like a different sport. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Just to put it into perspective, I won a motocross race at Doon.
Fuck me, it must have
Fair
been.
play.
That was my-
Donemanna
geez.
that was my
wasn't the
Christ.
easiest track.
No, it wasn't, but it was sodden wet, and I just made sure everyone fell off, bar me. Believe it or not.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
What when would that have been?
Oh Christ, 2013 or 14 maybe.
I was going to say 14. Because
Yeah.
I'm nearly sure in 14 I remember there was a real mutter at it.
Yeah, it was disgusting,
Aye.
and the bikes were
Barry.
proper buried. Like,
That was a I would have called that a man's track.
yeah, really.
Oh, flip me. See when it get rough, like I used to love going there knowing that when you're fit, let it get rough and
Yeah.
sort the men from the boys.
Yeah.
As opposed to some hard pack track that stays the same all day. The boy that's fast to start of the day will still be fast at the end of the day.
Aye, that's true. That's true.
I see, like, the kind of the likes of the Irish Championships now.
Yeah.
Is there, like, we have it where it's kind of like nearly two divided championships. There's like the north and the south.
Yes.
Is it the same in motocross, or is there still an all Ireland kind of championship?
There is, like, the Irish Championship would be like north-south.
Yeah.
You see, it used to be you had the Ulster Championship, which was MRA organised, run and everything, and it's still like that. And then you had the Southern Centre Championship, which was a bit like their Ulster.
Yeah.
And then you had the Irish, which was the both of them. And I suppose it is still like that in a way. Now, it seems to be with all the issues in the south, the Southern Centre Championship's kind of near enough non-existent now.
Yeah.
Do you know the last
Yeah.
couple of years that they were running, like they were running with minimal numbers, and they could run the adults and youth all in the one day because they had to make it pay.
Make it pay.
The Ulster's still well enough supported, but I think the problem we have is it's still, you know, a lot of people are fed up probably riding the
Are
same
you
thing.
struggling with tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, as you say, Donemanna, Ballykelly, Desert Martin used to be 3 real top class sand tracks. Then there was a good hard pack track in Downpatrick. You had Tandragee, Seaford was going early 2000s. So there's 6 straight away that you could have 6 different tracks to run 6 different championship rounds.
Yeah.
Along with Drumahoe, there used to be Claudy, there was a track in Feeney. You know,
Oh,
there's...
you had the makings of like 10 or 12 tracks there,
Well,
like to make a proper.
When I was 15, 16, I remember starting out and going every weekend. You were somewhere different, and you were racing every weekend. Now I know obviously costs now, people can't afford to do it, but me, see now it's like, right, same place.
Yeah.
You know,
tedious.
2-3 rounds in the one track.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to
Sounds
what it was
familiar.
then.
So it does sound very familiar, doesn't it?
Bishop's
Well, it
Court and
does.
Cardiff.
Aye. Bishop's
yeah,
Court.
yeah. Well,
Do you
the one is-
remember, what do you call that one? Was it White Mountain?
Oh,
the motocross.
Ivy Hill.
Ivy Hill.
Yes.
Aye. Remember that? Jesus Christ. You wouldn't have wanted to walk around it. Never mind, right?
I
Got
rode
there?
it. I rode it a few times, and then obviously whenever I was riding, I was always looking different place to practice.
Yeah.
And I phoned a boy that I was supposedly renting it or had been dealing with it.
Right.
So, and I had rang and there's me, any chance of getting a run out? No, Ivy Hill. I work away. Little did I know he didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, no
And I
way.
rocked up and I'm going round and round laps, and the next thing this farmer came welting a pitchfork at me going, you better get off here.
Gee.
And I was like, all right, okay. And
Stick the
I was
bike in the
like,
van.
I was like, sorry, I'm out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I flipping made a quick exit.
Yeah.
Little did I know.
Cheeky bugger. I go ahead
Aye.
there. He was probably sitting in the corner waiting to see what happened.
I was the test dummy, maybe.
Yeah.
So that one day, that was enough for me.
It's
But like
enough
you
for
say,
Ivy Hill.
there's a lot of good tracks aren't there
Yeah.
now, you know. But I suppose the thing is now, it's the noise and everything else. Nobody wants bikes near.
Aye, that's the thing.
And then
people
we
are-
talk about diesel electric bikes. Let's go electric and all, but you know, see if they did, and that was the future, they would find something else to stop you on. Do you know what I mean?
It's never ending cycle. like,
No,
It's gonna
exactly.
be, taking up,
Oh, are you wrecking
you're
the
wrecking
National Trust are in complaining you're wrecking
wrecking soil.
some sort of soil samples.
Yeah,
and,
there's a lesser spotted worm in here somewhere. Like,
yes, there's leaves falling in that field there, and they're sacred leaves.
Sacred leaves
Aye, load of
amongst
shite.
tree.
Aye.
kind of going back to your own racing. So you went up through the kind of youth levels, 60s and then 80s, and then would you be the kind of age you in the adults? Would it be 15, 16?
Aye, sort of 15. So obviously for me, I done 93 was a 50, then 94 I done 60s, 95, 6 and 7 it was 80s, then I went 100s, 98 and 99, and then at 2000 started into the 125s.
125.
And I was 14 then
You were 14.
when I was on the 125, and I was July, so my birthday is the 1st of July, and there was an Irish Championship at Dundalk. So we were like, oh, you will just stay down and do the adults on the Sunday. Now I'm 15.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But it turned out, because I hadn't applied for a license and all this,
you
there was a
didn't
bit of a
get
kick
going.
up, so they wouldn't let me ride that day.
Right.
So I ended up then, I'd done the last round of the 125 Championship at the end of that year, Tandragee. And the last race of the day, I finished 3rd in the A's, or the A's and B's or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'd done the last round of the Ulster that year as well in the B's at Desert, and I won the 3 races by about half a minute.
Right.
So then the next year I was going for a full B year. And when I went to apply for a license, people had been complaining that it was
no
too
chance.
quick, so I had to end up going straight to the A's.
Yeah.
Straight to age of 15.
At 15, 125.
And that wouldn't be that common now, would it?
No,
Or
not
it definitely would have
really.
been probably back then.
No.
Like.
Well, obviously, the worst about it was you're out against 250s and whatever
Yeah.
on
and
a
the best
125, and because I was doing the British Youth that year, I couldn't ride anything more. So I rode the 125, and places like real fast tracks, you were kind of up against it. But I ended up missing 2 rounds because the clash with the British, and still ended up 10th or something that year.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it was still not a bad year.
And was it like just a family effort at this rate, or
Well,
were you riding
mostly,
for any
obviously,
outfit?
up until sort of 2000s, you know, it was just really my granddad and my dad and stuff, and then Ian Spratt, the uncle, came on board. He, you know, oblivious to me, I didn't know at this stage, but he, you know, always said once I would get on a bigger bike, he would be, you know, help me out. And
Yeah.
From 2000, as soon as I got on a 125, straight away, 2 125 Yamahas he bought me.
Wow.
And that was every year from 2000 right up until I more or less stopped.
Yeah.
He bought me 2 bikes or sponsored whatever I was involved in.
Wow.
You know, which was a big help.
Yeah, it was a
I
big
mean,
help.
yeah, because
What sort of brought you into the British scene then? It was 97.
yes, 97 I started on the, like I say, I'd done it in the 80s. Then I went to the 100s, and I didn't do it the first year, but I'd done it the second year, and then I'd done it in the 125s then the next 2 years after that.
But that's because you got to the level here where you didn't, you know, you
Aye, well, I
needed
mean,
to progress. Like.
Yeah.
97 I kind of won the Ulster, the Irish, and I was 6th in the British Championship that year. I won the round of the championship as well in England that year, so it was like, I suppose I was ready to go at that point.
Did someone bring you over? Were
Just-
you
it was just
head
parents,
hunting?
really.
Just yourself just decided,
Yeah,
let's go.
we were like, you know what, this seems to be the next sort of step we're looking for. And
Yeah.
because, you know, we'd done a few like wee club races and stuff, you know, over in England.
Yeah.
Do you know, and sort of always, you know, at that age, you're just oblivious and you're going and you want to win.
Aye.
So it's just like going over to right, let's get stuck in here, and it sort of went fairly well, you know.
And what? Sorry,
No, you're all right.
What was your ambitions at this time? See, when you were a kid, was it to be, you know, British MX champion, world MX? Like, what did you want to do?
I don't know. I suppose it's a wee bit. Every kid thinks they're going to be a world champion. Now, I think at that stage, you know, for me thinking back, there was never really that, oh, what is it going to be? What does it have to be? Probably until I was a bit older, you know. But at that stage, you were going over there and it was like good weekends crack and getting to ride your bike and doing well, you know. You were just sort of living the dream a wee bit. And then, I suppose, in around that 2000 era with Gordy and stuff, then in Grand Prix, you know, we're like, oh, yeah, that's class. You want to, suppose you want to get on TV and be sort of in that sort of environment, but I suppose it comes down to really, yes, you have to have the raw speed, but it's finding the right path and being in the right place at the right time, you know, for things to align, to sort of tick the box to get the things, you know. And I suppose I even look back, you know, the first couple of years of starting in the adults, you know, got my first sort of adult win when I was 15. Got lucky all the same. One boy got knocked off, bike wouldn't start, the other boy was disqualified for knocking him off, and something else. So I had like 2/5 and a first.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was sort of giving me the overall that day because everything happened to everybody else. But
To come first you have to finish.
Well, exactly. So I took it, and then obviously it was only 03. It kind of went for the first 250Fs that came out that year. And I mean, we were going with no expectation of what am I going to do here, and there were 2 25-minute races, and I suppose I was going out going, this is going to be hard going here.
Yeah.
And at first round at Desert, Boggs standard 250F, whole shot the first race and led it from start to finish basically.
Smoked them.
And I was like, flip me, I wasn't going out ever expecting that.
Yeah.
And then the second race, I was like, sure, no matter what happens, now at least I can say I won a race.
Yeah.
Won out, won the second one too.
Brilliant.
So then it was like, expectation was, I have to be at the front.
High. And was there ever any pressure at this stage? Did you have the traditional motocross day or anything? Or?
Oh, well, don't get me wrong, I would always have said, my dad would have been, he would have been hard.
Yeah.
But I think I was sort of, what would you say, able to accept the way he was.
Yeah.
As in, I didn't take it in a negative manner, that it was all
I was
hammering
only
me
seeing
down.
your potential, and he was just trying to
even on don't get
you.
me wrong, it wouldn't have been like if I'd have won a race, I wouldn't have been getting a bollocking or anything, but there was always still room for improvement, or you need to be keeping it going, and then obviously bad races, you knew about them, like but I was able, my attitude then would have been like, right, well, I'm going to go out in this next race and I'll prove him that he's full of shit.
It's constructive.
I would have just been out then to try and prove him wrong. Right, well, let's see what he's going to say this time. As opposed to dropping the bottom lip and looking sympathy from somebody. Do you know? And then even, I suppose I remember 99, I was doing that year, we were doing the British and went over to Brampton, and in Brampton first lap of qualifying, it's coming out round, and halfway around the first lap, this massive big boulder flew off the wheel in front of me. Ooh. And I watched it until it hit me in the hand.
Hate that.
And literally splattered my knuckle. And I just rode on that whole weekend with this. Yeah. I never really thought anything of it. I was like, that's flipping sore. And it was up like a bop. So we had come home then that weekend, and the next weekend was the semi-finals of the AC qualifiers or whatever. And remember my mum taking me to hospital and getting an x-ray, and they're like, yeah, you've what they call a boxer's fracture in your knuckle. So we come out and we're like, right, what are we telling your dad here? We need to tell him something, that it's okay, otherwise you're not going next weekend.
Oh, right.
So we come out and told him, no, it's fine, we'll be grand. I grimmed and bared the next weekend, see every flipping jump. As soon as I landed, I could feel the finger coming out of the knuckle. And then I going, that's sore. And I did a ride my best, probably not, but I didn't ride bad. I still qualified in the top 12 or whatever it was to make the finals. Yeah.
And your mum was in on it, no?
Oh, she was in on it.
Fair play.
And then I remember one other time too. We were at home and the yard was all stones and there was a couple of cats and stuff running about, and I was running the bike in on the Friday, and I came down off the garden onto the stones. The cat ran across and I grabbed the front brake. Big front wheel washout, went down and got my foot stuck under the bike.
Took the front
When
of
I
the
got up
cat.
and couldn't hardly walk, my flipping ankle was up like a bat.
Really?
And they were doing a 2-day down in Johnstown and down Naas Carriageway. So I was told, you're not going the Saturday. It wasn't the championship, the Sunday was. But I wanted to go racing. I was like, I'm not sitting at home here. So didn't go on the Saturday, didn't leave then on the Friday. Said, no, we're not going. So then Saturday afternoon, the only way we were going Sunday was if I could beat him in a run race up the garden. So I had to sprint up the garden and beat him, which I did.
Yeah.
So then it was like, well, I beat you, so that's okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
away I
alright.
went.
Get the bike and van.
And I got through the weekend, won the 3 races on the Sunday, all right.
Yeah.
That could
Which
have been
was-
catastrophic.
I was,
didn't even say it.
at that age, a week seemed like a flipping year. If you missed a race,
Yeah.
waiting on the next weekend to come,
Yeah.
But I got lucky and I got down and it went all right. And
You have
I
that,
just
like,
forgot.
you have that like teenage depression if
Yeah.
you're not doing something that you don't want to be.
And you see, back then, I remember when we were younger, if you had a wet weekend, nobody rode their bikes because you didn't have the same facilities, all these practice tracks that there is now. So back then, it was like you were relying on Desert Martin run the practice day or wherever. There wasn't.
Everyone didn't have a track in their back garden.
No. And like nowadays, it's like, well, if you're not going here, you're not going there. 3 or 4 different practice tracks on a Saturday,
Yeah.
which I suppose in a way, takes away a wee bit from people going racing, because they'll be like, I'll go and do 3 or 4 sessions at the track and I'll be home for lunchtime.
Yeah.
Rather than going racing and waiting about all day. But back in the day, everybody wanted to go racing.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 200 bikes turned up on on a race day.
It was a healthy
Whereas
kind of entry.
nowadays you go and there could be 20 or 30 at one practice track, 20 or 30 at the other.
It's all split.
Maybe 80 bikes at a race, and you're sort of going, if everybody would just go and enjoy a day's racing, it would be more healthy for the sport.
Yeah.
But then to see the racetracks can't really go up against practice tracks, because there are people that own the tracks, don't run them as a business.
Yeah.
So you go to a practice track and it's like a snooker table, level, mint, and
Continuously worked
yes, because they're continually getting an income,
Yeah.
whereas the landowners aren't.
on. Yeah.
So they get whatever it is for running a race, and that maybe covers them to level it in their diesel and a few quid in their pocket. They're not going to start in 2,000-3,000 to develop every flipping couple of races, which makes it difficult too, but
Yeah.
seems to be the way it is now,
Yeah.
You mentioned Gordy earlier. I take it that's Gordon Crocker,
Yeah,
is it?
Gordon Crocker,
So
yeah.
Gordon Crocker, did he have any influence with you? Was there any training or?
Well, funny, whenever I was 17, I remember I did do a few days out. He picked me up and we went to Andrigay and stuff,
Yeah.
back in the day. And, I suppose you're like, flip me, this is Grand Prix special here. How do I get to this level,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back then, I suppose at 17, you're thinking, want to try and impress him, or as go out and try and beat him type
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
yeah.
because I suppose like that was him in his sort of prime back then,
Yeah.
Did he have much influence with in any way of your career? Or?
Not a whole pile,
Not really.
no. I think back then, I suppose with motocross, it was kind of, everybody's every weekend, your race. You kind of get stuck in your own bubble. I suppose it's more, you get more people near the end of their career where, they're sort of tailing out and they have more time and they're looking for like a bit of a protege to sort of steer and guide a wee bit, you would sort of see it more that way rather than people in their prime wanting to sort of get involved, but I suppose for me, when Gordy was more at the tail end of his career, I was feeling like at home I could give him more of a race,
Yeah.
because when he did come home, back in the 2-stroke days, early 2000s, when he was at his best, I mean, he even come home and yes, he would have won round Desert Martin technical track, but you'd have went to some of the more harder, smaller tracks, he would have still won, but he wouldn't have been lapping everybody.
Yeah.
So it just showed you the level was still good at home, but he was able to up what he done when he went away.
When he was away too.
Which that's where people struggle. It's the mental side. People can't, switch their brain on and go, these people still get out of bed the same way as I do. Why can I not go into their backyard and beat them, you know?
Either mentally beat before the start.
I suppose it's a wee bit like, you know, you bring, I don't know, some guy to Kyrgyzstan that could maybe be top 5 every week in a BSB.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll go and you'll flip and push them, no bother. But then I always find you add another 10 guys that are all on that level. Do you know, the gaps seem to open. Do you know, and that's what you find in motocross. There's 10 guys could go within a second, whereas over here, you've like 1, 2 in the same second, and then it could be 3 or 4 back to the next wee group.
Yeah.
And you never really, you come out of the gate and it was like, nowadays, right, there's 2, 3 you only have to worry about, and then the rest, you know, you've covered.
Well, that's kind of the similar thing that we see in the short circuit scene over here as well. Same with BSB, there could be a second covers the top 20, but then a second can maybe cover the top 5 over here sometimes. But do you think that's just purely down just to the demographic?
It could be. It's hard to know.
It's hard to know, isn't it? But yet again, there was a stage probably in both disciplines where it wasn't that case.
No.
If you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like you say, you go back to the early 2000s, over here especially, you know, you had minimum of 6 guys that could have won a race, and them 6 guys maybe could have went and been top 6 in England as well. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, you suppose you look at the top 6 now that aren't over in England, that top 6 probably would struggle to get top 20.
Yeah.
And it's where is it getting lost? I don't know.
Well, we kind of talk to people here about as well, and we've talked to quite a lot of people in that early 2000s kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we've talked about like even money, right? So in the kind of short circuit stuff, we had like the tobacco sponsorship, and there was people who was putting their hands in their pockets, and it was, you know, it was well funded in all around. Was motocross healthy in that respect?
Probably back then it would have been a lot more healthy than what it is now. I mean, you know, you could have been sort of getting decent enough help. Yeah. Whereas, like, I mean, now, I mean, you have no chance of going to any dealer and saying, here, can you give me a bike for a year?
Right.
You know, I would say you're going to be relying on an outside sponsor to come in and buy the bike now.
Is it just because of the price of the bikes now?
I would say it probably has to, all right. And I mean, then I suppose the volume of bikes isn't being sold now that what used to be. Because I mean, for years I was in KTMs, and every year, you know, KTM were giving you a loan bike for a year. Yeah. Do you know, without any major issues. And then a loan bike would have been like, okay, it's a loan bike, but maybe £500 you have to put towards it. Depreciation. But if you win a championship, you don't have to pay it. Right. So it was a wee bit of an incentive. Whereas I would say if you walked into probably any dealer now and said, can I get a motorbike for a year? I'm going to, I'll win you a championship. I'll say, I don't need to sell you one to get a championship. I'm still not going to sell any more bikes whether you do anything or not. Do you know, it's just...
And what about, like, even, was there ever, like, any prize money at motocross?
Oh, flip aye.
Yeah, was there a good turn to be had?
I would say back in the day, it was a lot probably better. Better from the sense of the cost of living now to then. Yeah. You know, I can remember in 07, first KTMs were hitting $6,000. Everybody was like, these bikes are getting dear. And you're now paying over 10 for the same bike. For the bike, do you know what I mean? So back then, I remember, well, even 2011, it was £100 a win. Yeah. And there was 6 races in a day. Because I remember the first round at Ulster that year, I came home with 600 quid. Brilliant. Thought I was flipping.
Yeah, I have a professor.
Yeah. Started throwing the 20s out, you know.
Beers and Chinese in their own ways.
Well, yes, that would have been a good thing. Only thing I done was I jumped on a flipping plane and flew to England. So I had to flipping pay for flights and everything to get there for the British Championship. And I only got, was it 150 the next day back from it?
Oh, right.
But
that's bad business.
You're right. Stupidity, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, I can think back to there was, like, for instance, the John Donnelly, which was a big memorial race back in the day. You go back to early 90s, 80s, there was always even Grand Prix guys all came over to do this. And I mean, I remember 07, I won it, and I got 850 quid for the day.
That's a nice
which was a nice wee lift. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I would say there wouldn't be too many days like that now. Now, in fairness, this year I think the Irish Championship's not too bad.
Like a wee bit.
I'm trying to think exactly offhand what it is. Because a few years ago they were doing, was it like 500 for the overall on the day, and then at the end of the year, was it $5,000 for the winner of the championship?
That's not bad.
Which was good, because
Yeah.
that's something that was never heard of for a
Yeah.
long time.
That's a nice wee touch.
It
there.
is.
Yeah.
It was like, was it 5-2-1 first, second, third, or something along them lines. I just can't remember the figures, but it was a good enough lift.
Yeah.
And that was a wee end of year bonus.
And what about like product support and stuff with tires? Would you have ever been looked after with tires or anything, or was that always?
Well, there was bits and pieces. I mean, I can remember, and I think the price of them now. I was getting, one of the years I was riding, was getting like a tire for 30 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Unreal.
And it was like great.
Yeah.
Now, probably the best year for product would have been the 2 years I rode for Jonathan Ray.
Right. Okay.
What? You
We're going to have
He
to
had-
get into this.
He had started a
Is that JAR?
JAR, yes.
Yes, I remember that.
He started
was
a
that
team.
what that was?
Yeah.
Kenny Smith.
Yes,
worked
Kenny
for
was the
him, yes.
mechanic.
Right.
Yeah.
He had started a team, I think, was it 09 or 2010. He had a fella, David Goosen from South Africa, was his first year, and then Michael McCammon from Larne was riding for him.
Yeah.
And at the end of 2011, I had been riding for the guys that I normally rode for at home, my uncle and the guy I worked for. They were sort of running a team at home. But when I was in England, I rode for a guy, Darren Wilson, and he had a team over there. So I had bikes over there and bikes here. At the end of that year, I broke the leg over here. Stupid wee tip over, and as I was getting back up, do you know, my foot would have been sitting knee, foot in the ground. I got my leg rode over and compound fracture, the tib and fib.
Yeah.
And me being the usual, I was like, let's stand up here. Stood up and buckled. So at the end of that year, I'd sort of the vibes I was getting from over there was that I wasn't going to be getting as good a support, because they had brought in another big bike rider
Okay.
who was bringing a load of money.
Right.
So this was like long before the season was even done. I knew this was sort of like, I'm not staying in that environment. So then obviously I sort of got talking and made contact with JR and stuff, and as soon as I was straight on with him, it was like, definitely he was all pumped and wanting to go at it. And
Yeah.
that year he got really heavily into it, and 2012 it was.
2012. So that would have been. He was. Like,
He was still on Honda.
He
at
was
that
still
point.
on Hondas.
And obviously Honda, flip me, Honda
I
thought he was.
loved him. Like, he was golden balls.
Yes, so it made getting stuff, really good. And to be fair, like I remember different weekends where he's sitting in between qualifying and racing, and he's on the phone wanting to know how the team's getting on and stuff. And
Class.
you're thinking, flip me, your racing's a wee bit more of a bigger level than we're doing. But he went all in that year.
And this was in the Irish Championships?
We done Irish, Ulster, Irish and British.
Oh, so he's done all three?
And then you see Richard, Richard was like team manager, let's say.
Right,
he was
okay.
looking after the team. So he would have drove the van out, and he bought a Sprinter, and he'd put like a big awning on the side, and it came right round the back. So he had like the hospitality unit on one side, and then like 2 work bays and all. And I mean, it was as professional as anything over there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like the stuff we got.
But you got support from Honda?
Well, I got that year, I got 2 bikes, and then at the end of May, Kenny had said, was talking to him, and I think it was like 65 hours on my bike, and he said, no, and I think we need to get that bike shifted. And straight away another bike landed.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then at the start of the year, Olin's flipping 2 sets of forks and shock appeared for the bikes, a van load of Michelin's.
Right.
'Cause at the start it was like, I remember, what do you think, Pirelli, Michelin? Because he could have got either.
Yeah.
And at that point I was like, I'll take either, whatever's going, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Black and around.
Yeah, so we ended up going down the route of Michelin, and I think that year I got 50 sets of tires.
50 sets of tires.
Wow.
And Castrol oils.
He would have been sponsored by it. That would have been the title sponsor of his own outfit then. Like.
And this is all from Honda, or did this?
Well, this all came from
Johnny,
Honda, and it was all through Johnny.
Yeah.
And like,
And would Johnny been out with you regularly? Like, would he have been out
he would
doing a
have,
bit of
been
training?
out, yeah. And, even in 2013, the start of the second year, he organised a villa, and we went down to Spain for a month. So
Class.
he came down. It was him and Gary Price that
Yes.
Him and Gary came down and stayed for, was it a week or 2 weeks? And there was me and Lewis Toombs that year, and he was out at the track and he was out training himself. So days we weren't on the bike, the four of us were out cycling, and it was racing up the mountains and, you know, to see who would get there first. And
that doesn't sound fun.
No, it was. Well, I was sort of like thinking, right, I'd done a wee bit of cycling, and I thought, right, I have to show them who's the boy this time, you know. And I knew he was competitive and he was good, and Gary Price as well. And I thought, right, this is going to be a bit of a beasting mode. And I can't remember where we'd done this climb up through some mountain, do you know, and we're all staying together, and I sort of tried to stay in the big ring, and I went out by them all, and I was sort of thinking, right, don't panic, get away. And the next thing I looks, and here comes JR out by me. And then he says to me, come on, we'll work together here and we'll get away. And Gary Price, I says, dead on. So we flipping beasted each other and got to the top, you know, and it was a flipping
tough
day.
Like, and the heat too.
Yeah. And then one of the other days we went to Cartagena from where we were staying. Block. We had got a full-on tailwind the whole way there.
Nice.
The way back, flipping 20 mile to headwind. And there was another guy that they bumped into. He's a mountain biker. His mechanic mate was with him. So we got him, and he literally parked the van, or his van or whatever he was driving at the time. We just sat in the back bumper to get home.
Brilliant.
No speed whatsoever, just to get the wind. It was that brutal, you know.
Get the slipstream off.
Aye.
What is it Johnny Ray calls himself? He calls himself a field motocross rider. I think it was on his Instagram at some stage. Like,
do you know, it's funny because I think
it's true.
He started, but you know what I would say without, you know, if half the boys that do motocross had as much flipping heart and desire to do it as him, there would have been a lot more flipping boys that would have succeeded on it. You know, because I remember, like, even thinking back when he first started, he was on a wee Malaguti 50. Do you know, and I remember them appearing at the race, and then he was always sort of at the start of a class below me.
That's what I was going to ask. What's the timeline
between
you
was
and
a
him?
class below me, and then like he won the British Championship in the 60s at the time, and then he would have been at the front in the 80s, and I was sort of in the hundreds at that stage. So that would have been what, 98. He would have been the small wheel 80s, and I was in like the hundreds, and then I jumped to the 125 and he was in the big wheel 85s or 100s or whatever it was. And then he'd get hurt. So then he moved to the 125. And he first came out, was at the British Championship at Desert Martin, and he'd done a couple of races at the end of that year. And there was one day at Ballykelly. Obviously I was in the 125s and I was like, oh shit. Because I knew he was fast. And I was like, oh, fuck me, I can't let this, you know, I can't let him beat me. This is going to fucking make me look bad. Do you know? And he pushed me hard for half the race or more. And then I don't know whether he'd slipped off or what. And I was like, pressure off. And then it was shortly after that he was going circuit race, and I was like,
thank God.
Thank God he's going, because
I can't be living with this.
No way. If he starts to get something better and beat me, this is making life difficult for me.
He started ruining your weekends.
What level do you think Johnny could have been if he stuck at motocross?
It's hard to know, because I mean, like, he was the whole way through his youth, he rode at the front in British Championships. Now he did have a few sort of big offs and stuff and hurts, but he had the right mindset, you know, like he never looked at anybody as, oh, you're better, I can't, you know. It was just get stuck in here and you know, see what we can do, you know. He, by all means, he had the right mindset, the right attitude, that, you know, he could have probably succeeded at it. I think the hard bit in the motocross side of things is it's getting the right opportunities to get down the right avenue. Do you know, like, especially from here, it's quite hard, because suppose you think back to what Gordon Crocker in his day, you know, he got into that avenue of needing to get to the Grand Prix, and back then you could go and try and qualify, and you get paid for qualifying, then you get paid for wherever you finished. So then as you get into the 2000s, it got to be, there was nothing. So you're spending a fortune to go there for what? Unless you're on a really well-funded team, or you've got a massive amount of money behind you. To go down that route of Grand Prix racing and motocross doesn't really have any relevance, as in financially. If you're not a millionaire doing it for the love of it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's guys that are doing it now, and don't get me wrong, they're all good riders, but probably some of them are there because they've got enough financial backing to do it.
Yes.
You know, it's not, you don't go to every country and it's like the 40 fastest guys
Yeah.
are there. Do you know, it's the ones that can afford to do it, or
to do it.
do you know, most of them teams, they're probably looking thousands. Do you know, just to get into the team?
Yeah.
Flip back.
Do you know,
That'll be quite common.
Yeah.
Kind of in our side of the sport, especially.
see, I would
like,
always, my looking from the outside, I always thought your side of the game would have been, it seemed, I don't know, a bit
Be
easier to
easier.
get more money. Maybe that's not the case.
Maybe at one stage, probably, but probably.
There's
don't
more
know,
fern for sponsors.
more fun.
Aye, well, and it's people can come and they don't get their feet dirty.
Yeah, it's cleaner.
Yes.
But I think kind of even like the whole British scene and stuff. I think that's kind of, how would you say, the culture of it is there's going to be a lot more paid race. The chosen few and the people who deserve it, and
Yes.
the cream of the cream.
Yes.
Obviously, get whatever they get. Like,
And
but
then that's, I think, is the problem. People look at, suppose, JR. Oh, look at the lifestyle he's got. I want to get into that avenue and I want to go down that route. But
yeah,
the problem is, like you say, there's maybe one out of every 50 get that opportunity.
I didn't say more.
Probably more.
One every 1,000 probably. Like, to be honest
Do you know
with
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, people have the ability and people have the what it takes, but it's getting there is, if you haven't money to get you there, you're not getting there.
Yeah.
Which is sad in a way, because you're not getting the best of the best. Do you know what I mean?
But yet again, you have to make the most of your opportunity as well. Like,
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
100%. But I suppose in hindsight, you know, you think back to some of the things that happen in life with your racing career, and maybe an opportunity that didn't work out, and you could be kicking yourself going, that didn't.
Yeah, you should
But
have made
then-
the most of that.
Yeah. And I suppose for younger kids now, maybe they maybe don't, you know, that some of them think and are about themselves that, oh, here, I'm better than this team, or I'm better than this opportunity,
Yeah.
you know, and you'll only look back in years to come and maybe think you didn't make the most of,
Yeah,
you know, of
yeah,
what it was
yeah,
like.
Yeah.
Do you think the Grand Prix scene would be worth, you know, like yourself going to and fighting for, or would you rather stay in British just?
I would say now you could make a better living doing British Championship. If Conrad Muse does British Championship, Conrad Muse, I would say he'd be better off now than what he would be riding for a second tier Grand Prix team.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a satellite team?
Like a satellite team,
Yeah.
you're not going to be getting a big enough wage. Like I don't know what he gets, but I would say he has to be clearing minimum between 70 to 100 grand a year
Right.
doing British Championships, I would say.
That would be the same as like a lot of people in the Superbike class and BSB as well.
it?
I'm sure the likes of Ryan Vickers had to pay guts nearly $500,000 last year, and then he's going into a paid HRC ride in BSB this year. So
Why
yeah,
would you do that?
because
You're the
it's
same mindset as me. Like,
I think they try to pass it off as kind of you're investing in your future, but yet again, it's a lot of money for 1 year's
a risk,
racing.
isn't it?
It's a risk, but every investment is a risk.
So
But
what happens in them circumstances? Ryan Vickers goes out, race one of the season, gets absolutely mangled, and he's out for the year. Do you get 95% of that investment?
I imagine. I don't know.
Do you know,
I
but
don't
you know what I mean?
you'd probably,
Yeah.
you'd probably get nothing back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would say a lot of them big teams and stuff, they want your money, and they've already had spent and put in a place that
Yeah, of course.
you're just a pawn on the board.
Yeah.
Correct.
Why they don't save it in the bank
No.
to the end of the year to make sure you finish the
Yes,
season.
no,
Yeah.
and that's the bit that I suppose makes it hard. You know, you get a kid that's maybe a bit of talent and has good backing and goes to somewhere, and the team's ruthless, and they just, you know, don't give you maybe the nurturing you need. But all they want is they know you've got big backing and take your money.
Yeah,
And it's happened.
and just to play
Oh,
a
yeah.
bike with the colours.
Aye.
That's about it. And that happens time and time again. If you know what I mean.
See,
It's
to me,
it's the wee
that's all wrong.
piggy bank
Yeah.
rider like such.
Aye, and you
People
do
making
see it
business.
all over. The only place that I can see that there's seems to be decent enough money to be made is America.
Yeah.
And the
Seems
off-road game.
especially in the off-road
Yeah.
game. But
I know you have to be still on that high level, but you know, you see different ones there that have done Grand Prix for years, and they're just going and doing the outdoor season in America, and they're making decent enough money.
And they've big sponsors over there too.
Everyone's
probably sponsored.
It's the lifestyle of her. It's the whole culture about, you know, off-road in America at the moment. We all see it with like the Deacons and all this madness. Like it's turned into its own animal. Like it's seen nearly like, if regarded nearly bigger than like a world championship scene and such, even though it might not be. It's not the case.
No, you're
like,
right. The Americans are always, we're better than everybody else anyway.
Yeah, yeehaw.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about the idea of Ever America or anything? Or
believe it or not, was it in 2012? I had sort of half set up to go and do a round of the outdoors that year. And whatever happened, it was like going to be one of the last rounds in Southern California. A guy, he had ran like a bit of a, you know, like a holiday place, and you went out and got bikes, and I'd spoke to him, and we're trying to make it work to get out and do, I think it was Glen Helen that year.
Yeah.
And I think ended up at the end of that year, I won the Ulster at the last round, and the week after I was going to do a round of the British at Hawkstone, and ended up flipping, coming off and breaking this bit of my arm, and not finished the season. And then it didn't get any further than that, because he was literally going to take the bike to the track. He had a truck or whatever there, you know, that he used for storing the bike. So it was just fly in, ride the bike and do it and come home. And it was just trying to get it all to fit into place, and it unfortunately didn't work out. But it would always have been something to get to do it, because I was out there one year, like on one of them holidays, you know, and all the tracks, and it's just so fun, you know. New tracks, fast flowing, good weather, big jumps, good weather, you know, just the whole motocross dream is out there, you know, and the way it was. But unfortunately it didn't happen, you know. But I suppose maybe it was one of them things, just wasn't meant to be.
What about ArenaCross?
Oh, from the DNR, it came. I was one of the ones that was always Belfast every year.
Yeah. It's massive now, isn't it?
I like Supercross. Like it's been massive for years.
All I've seen is ArenaCross.
Every year now, Belfast seems to be one of their most popular destinations.
Is that right?
Now, why? I know bike enthusiasts in this country, because I mean they've been all over England, but when you see some of the stadiums over there, yes, they're bigger. But they're half empty compared to what you get. Belfast,
so it's an atmosphere thing.
Yeah,
right.
Belfast, I think, makes the boy that runs it gets a good cut out of Belfast.
Right, okay.
So it's worth his while bringing the circus here, because he knows that every year he gets a turn. Whereas he could be rolling the dice a wee bit more in different places in England.
Yeah. Especially the bigger stadiums, as you say. Like,
exactly.
They come over here and some wee scumbag shoot you. He enjoys it better.
That's it.
Get the Buckfast out and the coins.
Give me a shot in your bike there.
Give us a go, wee lobby.
When did the ArenaCross kind of start in this country?
First time it came was like, I think was it 2000?
2000.
It was the first year it came, and that was obviously Gordy in his heyday. Sold the arena out 2 nights, and he won and everything. You know,
everything was.
Our Horns place was going absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Do you know, and that was the big starting point for it.
Yeah.
And because of the atmosphere and everything else, like it was a real big thing that everybody then wanted to get involved in, wanted to do. And I think it's been coming more or less every year since.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to it?
Yeah, I've been to a few times. Like, no, it is a good night out. Like,
I've rode in it for years, and then I've been going since I got hurt.
Yeah.
I sort of felt this last year it was a wee bit, I don't know, a wee bit flatter than
right?
and I don't know why. Is it just
maybe it's a commentator?
Oh well, maybe.
Trying to get a job here.
Well, do you know, it's funny. I don't know. I just didn't have the same. Like
it's weird when you bring like a motorsport into like an arena type area as well. Like, if you know what I mean, it's bringing like a, you know,
I think
it's like smoking at a pub.
Aye, but I think it is. But the one good thing that it does, I think, is it's warmer, it's not dirty, and you get a seat.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a couple of beer and everything else, you can do
it's
it.
a night out, like.
Yes, so it brings a different audience that wouldn't want to come and get their fancy shoes dirty and you know, stand freezing if it's raining and outdoors and all the rest of it. You know, it does have a different appeal. And I suppose if you've kids and, you know, maybe they're not really big biking enthusiasts, but they'll go and maybe, or we'll go and watch this, like going to watch
For the
ice
noise.
hockey or Disney and Ice or whatever it may be, you know, something.
Yeah.
And it does seem to get a good following in that way, but I don't know. Hopefully it does continue for the good of the country and all the rest of it, but I just felt it was a wee bit, I don't know, just
it always seems like it's only showcased for like a motocross night out for the masses. As such, like, so
that's what it is, kind of like, and I suppose it is a wee bit different to the outdoor stuff, you know. People look and go, oh, sure, it's 25 seconds a lap.
Yeah.
There's nothing too technical. Trust me, when you get inside there and you're not used to having to be precise and land smooth and you make a wee error, the track soon goes from feeling this way to this way.
True. Yeah.
And you're bouncing off in your ear and into the flipping seat somewhere. You think to yourself, no. Because I mean, anybody that you ever hear comes off and they normally gets
wrecked
at it.
Is that right?
There was a wee lad this year,
Adam Donnelly.
Adam Donnelly, did you see
seen
it?
that?
Yeah. He did I read somewhere that he spin up coming up the takeoff and landed short in the big finish line double. Now it was a big jump.
There's a video of it, I think, in there, yeah.
Both ankles broke and a wrist broke.
Ooh. Did he stay on or?
No, he landed. He landed.
Landed and then done a full head flipping somersault. And I mean, the one thing about it is, yes, it's nice to do it, and you always think, I'll be all right. But you go and you do that, and you get wrecked. Like there, he's sitting now, season's more or less done. So what can he? You know, yes, he'll get back at some point, but he's going to spend 3 or 4 months lying at home with plaster Paris for the sake of what?
And the confidence wrecked as well.
Yeah. So you're starting to build yourself back in for what?
Yeah.
Just to say you've done the ArenaCross, you know what I mean? It's nice to do it and all the rest of it, but is it worth it?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's not.
It's like a weird expedition that could hamper you, like.
Exactly, 100%, and that's the thing, you know. Everybody always thinks, nah, I'll be all right. Sure, I'm safe enough, and it's only a couple of wee jumps until you actually get in there and you realise you're coming out of a corner and there's flipping 30-foot double you have to clear, and you're landing short like that, and it's flipping game over, you know.
It's one of them things you have to do, but
well, 100%.
All motocross, you know, in any aspect, everybody wants to do an arena cross.
Everybody does, like 100%, and I mean, you know, I would have been no different. I mean, I done it first year it was here. I done it, and I was 15, riding youth class, and
felt like a bit of a superstar.
Well, my vision back then, I was like, right, I've watched Supercross. It's all about block pass and everything else, and I ended up, I flipping just went out and destroyed 2 or 3 boys' seasons.
Oh no!
Because the first I came round it was like a wee tight right hander off the finish. This boy was reeling round outside to nail the double. I just straight across and blocked him, and he didn't slacken. And he hit me and jumped off the track, smashed his wrist. And I was like, oh.
It's like WWE of like.
And I think I came round 2 or 3 laps later and coming into the last corner and drove up the inside and put a boy down and dragged him up the track. And I was like, oh, this is a good start to it. And I'm like, is this what I'm supposed to do or not?
You were popular from the off.
Well, thankfully nobody said boo about it. I suppose maybe I think they were both from England, so I kind of knew they weren't at home, so maybe better say it.
They were scared of you.
Yeah, scared of you.
But then it was like you're right into the arena for the first sort of go off at 15, and you're like, everybody's looking at me here.
Yeah.
What if I crash? What if I, you know, and you're sitting in the start line, you know, subconsciously looking around you. Obviously, when the gate drops, you forget about it, but, you know, that whole bird in a nest, everybody looking at you, you do feel it a wee bit, which can bring on more crashes and more flipping problems for people that maybe can't deal with it.
But the lights and all as well, and again, different environment. And
it's you know, you couldn't even sort of go and try and replicate it in a track somewhere because it's just completely different. Yeah, you know, but like you say, tick the box and say you've done it. As long as you're coming out of it in one piece.
Well, yeah.
So see, we went back to kind of riding the 250 for the first 254 stroke F. And then you went out and smoked it. But was that kind of the story of your season then? Was that when you everyone kind of clicked as such?
Well, I mean, it's sort of after that first day then it was like your expectations sort of changed because you're like, I kind of should be first, second, third here.
What year was this?
2003.
2003.
I was 17.
17.
And it was like, still at that age, you're young, and I suppose I still wouldn't even have said I was training properly, or, it was just, what would you say, capable of riding a bike fast enough to get the results that I was doing without probably putting enough effort in. But I mean, that whole year, thirds, seconds, firsts, more or less every round of that championship that year, because it came down to the last round, and it was between me and Philip McCulloch, and into the last round I had 16 points lead.
Right.
And there was a British championship race at Seaford in the August that year, and my start button, the pin broke in that race, and I hit the finish line, step down, and the spring came out of it, and the pin locked the fork. So when I compressed in, the fork didn't release and put me over the bars, and I broke my wrist. So I had, 5 weeks to try and get ready for the last round, and it was at Doonmotocross. So in my head, I'm like, right, I need this plaster off, 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to try no matter what.
Yeah.
And I rode the bike a couple of times that week leading up to it, and it was pure agony. And I thought, I'm just going to have to grim and bear it, and let's hope sort of I can do something. And I finished, was a 7th in the first race, which was crap. But I got there, and it was still in the hunt going into the last race. And I remember hole shotting it on the first lap, the big tabletop out the back at Doonmotocross. I out jumped it, landed in the hole, blew my wrist off the handlebar.
Oh, no way.
And at that point, I just waved the white flag. I'm done.
Sick.
And that was it. I just rode back to the van. I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
Second it is, frigate.
Yeah,
Too sore.
And that was a British.
No, that was the Ulster,
Ulster
MX2 championship that year. And that's what I'm saying, 16-point lead going in late, and I think I lost it by about 8 or 9 at the end of it. But at the end of the day,
but still, like,
tried it.
Kind of, that would have been, as you say, you still would have been like a young adult, or not even an adult there, and you would have been just against like McCulloch, who was like a proven seasoned rider at that stage as well. Like, so
that year, there was him, Adam Lyons, Richard McKeown, me, would have been sort of the first 4 from memory. And even the first round, it was Jordan Rose and somebody else from TM Rover. And then there was Jody and Danny Smythe. They were riding for TAS with Adam Lyons. Them three started the year in TAS and Suzuki's. But then Adam he only done maybe half a season with Suzuki, and he jumped into Yamaha with Dixon. The Suzuki 125 was a snail, like, to be fair. It was never quick enough, and he was like, Adam got on the 250F and was straight away faster, but it was still a good enough championship at that point,
But that would have been kind of like the season where you're, you've cemented yourself in adult motocross racing as like one of the top contenders, like.
I suppose you could say that, in theory. And then I suppose I did get an offer the next year then to ride it was a classic glass team. It was to be me and Adam Lyons that year.
Right, okay. Classic
in 04.
Glass,
it was me and him were sort of in the team, and I suppose this was a relatively new team at that stage, and I started out and didn't get my bikes. Then I was getting Adam's practice bikes.
Right, okay.
Obviously nothing against, this is just what I was being given, and I got a bike like a week or two before the first round. Went and done the first round. There was like 2 championships in England. It was like the KWS, they called it, and then the main British. So went to KWS from being on the bike 2 weeks, arm pump, and I don't even think I qualified. I was just
really
just felt like a duck out of water. I hadn't rode a bike a whole winter.
I suppose nothing came like.
No, and Adam had his bike, from way back before Christmas and everything else, and I just thought, right, okay. So then went to the first British 2 weeks later, and I was still riding the same bike. And at that point, Ian Spratt, who was my sponsor at the time, well, he had put, I forget how much, like 3 or 4 grand into the team. Obviously that was what they wanted at the time, and I took a step back from the 4-stroke to the 2-stroke again. So I went to Canada Heights, and I was running 8th or 9th at the start of the first race, so I was sort of doing all right. 2 laps to go, flipping bike ran out of petrol.
Oh my God.
No way.
So I'm sitting at the bottom of Canada Heights this mucky wet day, and obviously there was, I don't know how many people was there, but obviously most of them were all there for Adam. So I'm sitting, me and at the time Sarah, the girlfriend, and I'm going, right, somebody's going to come soon to see where I am. Sat there, and I'm like, I can't really leave this bike. It's not that anybody's going to push it away and steal it, but I'm like, surely somebody's going to come and see what's wrong and bring petrol, but nobody appeared.
2 days later.
Exactly. It felt like 2 months later. So then I decided, right, park the bike against the fence, dandered up, walked the whole way to the top of Canada Heights to where they were parked. Adam's bike was all washed. The mechanic, Phil Martin actually was working for him. He was the mechanic that year for Adam.
Yeah.
So he was obviously doing Adam's bike, and team manager standing there talking away, a cup of tea. Oh, Claire, you're there. We were wondering where you were. What happened? And I was like, ran out of petrol. Bike sitting at the bottom of the hill. Oh, you may go and get it fueled.
Oh my
Handed me a petrol drum. Handed me a petrol drum. Told me to go down. So there's me walking the whole way back with his petrol drum. Put fuel in the bike. Rode the bike back to the truck. Had to get straight into the back of the truck, because there was loads of sponsors and everybody in the front. So I'm stuck in the back of the truck this wet day. Put on a fresh set of gear.
Yeah.
Bike wasn't washed, nothing done to it. Fueled up out the second race.
What on earth? That is sick.
So obviously then at that point
that,
I come home, and Seamus then had phoned me and he was like, I'll be coming up for a meeting on the Monday or whatever. And I just said, nah, I'm at work here.
Yeah.
I'm not coming up. So then my uncle, who was the sponsor, he just lost a rag.
Yeah.
Whenever I told him what happened, so he phoned Seamus or whatever, and I got a phone call back 10 minutes later. We're not fucking part of that team anymore.
No.
I was like, right, okay.
Dirtbags, like, why did you treat someone like that? They obviously, their full focus was on Adam.
Yes, and obviously Adam was the man back at that point, so it was like, there was no skin in my nose, but I just didn't let it annoy me, just whatever it is. So they gave him a bike for his money type thing.
Yeah.
So he took the bike straight to Russell's.
Yeah.
Landed at the house that night. He says, there's new 250F for you.
Wow.
We'll get you another one.
Yeah.
In due course. Brilliant, thanks very much. There we go.
Yeah.
Within a couple of weeks, 2 brand new 250F Yamahas sitting back on the bike I loved from the year before.
Oh,
nice.
Class.
So obviously it kind of took me a wee bit. I was still doing well in the 250F, but I suppose with the way the year had started, I was a wee bit behind the 8-ball, not just feeling at my best, but it was an alright year, not my best. But
see the classic glass outfit, was that the first team that you rode for before this?
That would have been probably, that would have been.
Would that have made you a bit dubious over teams going
well, you see,
forward?
It was funny that year because in 2004 I had another offer with another team, which would have been to stay on the 250F and ride at home, and it probably would have been, in hindsight, it was a better route to go down, but at that stage I thought, no, I need to get to England, need to get stuck in, and everything else, and went down the route of taking a step back and going on the 125. And I suppose hindsight, if it had went the other route, who knows what would have stemmed from that, but ifs, buts and all the rest of it, we went that way. And hindsight's always a thing, so went down that route, and I'm like, you know what it was, and sort of got back on a bike that I'd enjoyed, and still finished the year out relatively strong, even though I spent the whole, from 2002, I had hyperextended my knee one day, and basically whenever I hyperextended it, I'd done the ACL, and I managed to get a drop foot because it squashed the nerve that runs to your foot on the side of your knee. I caught it in a bank, and whenever it smashed against the bank, it must have done the nerve, and then I was able to get my foot up, and when I hit a post, it hyperextended up the way. So from 2002, I'd done the whole 2003 and the start of 2004 with the torn ACL.
Wow.
And a drop foot.
You've had some dose of injuries just from going for this. Obviously, we'll talk about
it's funny, like you say. I mean, up until I done my whole way through my youth racing days, and I never even broke a fingernail.
Yeah.
Obviously, other than basically,
Yeah,
I
just
would
the
like
usual.
just a
like,
wee simple knuckle fracture, which didn't even put me off the bike.
Yeah.
Other than that, I never had an issue, and I sort of, I don't know, I kind of that to me the ACL and the hyperextension, it didn't, to me it wasn't a major one because I was only off the bike a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because I went to the hospital with a dropped foot thinking I had a broken foot.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can't feel my foot. I must have broke it.
Yeah.
Went to the hospital and they were like, no, we can't see anything wrong with it.
Do you think it's crazy the way that like motorbike riders think if it's not a bone broke as such, they just think it's all right, even though like
Aye.
tendons and ACLs and all this stuff, you know, it's all
you're all
serious
just get me
stuff.
back
Like,
on the bike.
but as long as the bone's kind of half okay, like
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
willing to. Just,
No, 100%.
Just right on
And
it.
I was always like that. It was like, right, what do I do to get round this?
Yeah.
Do you know, because I suppose just talking of another injury, in 2013, I had a crash at Laurel Bank coming up. You come up through from the bottom field to the top, and it was real choppy. And in qualifying, I don't know, it was on a fast lap, and it must have got a stone or a hole, and it sent the bike like it snapped sideways. And I went down, but sort of got up, rode on, finished the practice, and come in. I was like, fuck me, my hand was swole away up. I was like, this is sore. Never thought I had enough of it. Managed to get through the day, but it wasn't feeling normal.
Yeah.
And I thought, a couple of days I'll be fine. So obviously I was plastering on the Monday morning into work, grabbing the trowel, and I could hardly push the stuff on the wall. So at lunchtime, here's me, stuff this. I was working near Newtonards, so I thought, I'll go to Newtonards, minor injuries or whatever it was, they'll x-ray it and I'll know what the crack is. So I went down there, they x-rayed it, and they were like, no, we can't see anything broke. Dead on, I'm just a pussy. Back at it. So next couple of weeks I'm riding away and I'm popping, flipping painkillers like Smarties just
Yeah.
to get through each race. But the results were best flipping fourths, and just I knew it wasn't
Yeah,
at my
bang
best, and it was
average.
just sore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously as time wore on, weeks and months passed, it got better, and I never thought any more of it. It was just like out the back door, forgot about it.
Yeah.
Until the next year, I had another off in Scotland, and I went to the hospital and they said to me, you've broke your wrist and you've done your scaphoid. And I was like, oh fuck me, this is a biggie then.
Yeah.
So then further examination, they said, no, you haven't broke your scaphoid. That looks like an old injury.
Oh,
Right.
And I was
fuck's
like, well, I've never broke it, so how the hell is it
Yeah.
an old injury?
yeah.
So I got home sitting thinking, wonder did I break that last year whenever I went to that flipping A&E and they told me it was alright.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's what it must have
You're
been.
lucky.
Yeah.
No, it
And I
healed.
just rode on with it for every week, riding the bike, practicing, racing, put it to one side and forgot about
The,
it.
the scaphoid is a really funny one, isn't it?
Aye.
It can
Stupidly
either heal
bone.
itself in a couple of weeks, or it can ruin you for life. Like,
Yeah.
it's just whatever. It's like the luck of the draw,
It
whatever
seems
way
to
it
be,
kind of
'cause,
breaks.
like I say, I mean, my arm was sore for weeks after, but I just never thought, oh, I have a broken scaphoid. I just thought, something here is not right, but it'll fix
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Sort itself
And,
out.
and it did down the line, thankfully, but you hear people that saying, oh, I've had to get surgery, and my thing of a scaphoid is, well, I done it, it's fucking alright, you're just a
Yeah.
pussy. You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's just not the
Yeah.
right way to look at it, because it's, like you say, the luck of the draw, people do end up getting it bad, but I was lucky enough with mine, and it must have been, that was the only time I can think of it must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
must
were
have done
saying,
that.
oh, you had a broken scaphoid, and then they were telling me it wasn't, you know, thankfully
Yeah.
enough.
It's strange how they can find these things after
Aye.
so many years. When I broke my neck, they says, oh, see, this is the second time you've... It's like, what? No. And they says, oh, no, you've had a fracture in your neck before. It was it was only my dad then said, because I landed my head one time at Mandela Park.
Aye.
Now you can
And
tell.
that's... You're cheeky.
Yeah.
That was a dig for earlier. That's what that was for.
I thought it was his naggy sitting on his head.
Yeah, it was the way... I have a photograph of it somewhere, and I landed flat on the back of my head. And he said, bet you that's because my neck, I was real stiff for weeks, like after.
Right.
I just didn't see
I
him.
think a lot of them like injuries as well. It depends kind of who you have as like the specialist at the time looking at your X-ray, like,
Aye.
and they don't see a wee shadow or anything weird.
Well, you
Like,
see, anytime I ever broke bones, I put myself in the specialist role. I looked at it and went, right, that's broke.
Yeah.
And then every other time I went back, it was like, if I see progress, right, let's try and do a wee bit more and see if it's sore. And if it's sore, then take a wee bit of a rest. And you soon find out whether you're right or wrong. That was the way I always looked at it.
You're an expert watching Grey's Anatomy and everything.
Well, funny, the best about it was I broke the leg in 2015 when I got in this rut of getting hurt and couldn't get out of it. And literally down in Cork, there's 2 laps to go. I had went down the first lap and I think I'd won 95% of the races up to this point. I was like, I don't want to lose this race because it'll give the competition a sniff that they've got a chance here.
So you have a weakness.
2 laps to go, managed to get the second instead of going settle 2 first and a second, still get you the overall today. I kept hammering on, thinking I need to get on his back way just to let him know I'm here. And I come into the lap of back marker and it was dusty and I couldn't see, and I just straight through the bottom bit, and it must have hit a hole just before the takeoff of the jump. The bike went like that and like that and played me into the jump. And same
into
again.
The face of it?
Yeah, same again. Jumped up.
Job.
As soon as I jumped up, down I went, oh shit, legs broke. And I went to, they took me then to the hospital in Cork, and it wasn't sore, so I thought, I'm not going to walk on it, but something's not right here, because it did buckle on me. But if I don't lean on it, it's not sore, so maybe it's all right. So I explained I had broke it 5 years before this, same leg. So the doctor in Cork looked and he was like, you maybe should just go and see your doctor at home. That, I'm not 100% sure, that's maybe your old injury, looking at this x-ray.
Right.
So I come out going, right, that's okay.
That's...
I'm taking his word for it. This is not broke. I'm ready to go next week here. I'm going racing. So into the van, drove up the road, and I phoned Ian Dobie. Ian, doctor.
Yeah.
He was my go-to every time. Ian, I says, I've got an x-ray here. I took it on my phone.
Yeah.
He says, me, would you have a wee look at this? Cork are telling me that it's all right. He says, right, send me it and I'll phone you back. Not even 10 seconds later. He says, is that doctor a real doctor? He says. He says, it doesn't take a flipping brain surgeon to see that that's loads of wee bone callus there, that's broke.
Oh.
I was like, all right, he just didn't want to be bothered with a hassle. So he then sent it on to the fracture specialist or whatever. And he phoned me back. He says, go you up to the Royal in the morning. Don't want to break the bad news, he says, but he's looked at that and he says it's probably going to be another laser off frame. And I had one on 5 years before that, and I was like,
it's horrible.
Heartbreaking.
At that point, I'm like, I'm done, that's me done. Carry on racing. I'd hit 30 at that point, I'm like, I don't need this shit anymore. Done. So then we're driving on up, got to Dublin, and I was like, we'll stop in here to do a pee. Like, I hadn't peed for 3 or 4 hours, and I thought, right. So as I walked into the flipping services, this weird notion came in my head that I was going to start peeing blood.
Right.
Why? I thought this, I don't know. So sure enough, standing, looking into the toilet, started peeing, and it was coming out as red as red. No. And I come back out, and I said to Sarah, and there's me, I'm peeing blood there. Wonder what that means. So then I said, I better ring Ian Dobie.
Yeah.
I says, Ian, we stopped there and I'm peeing blood. Get you straight to Belfast tonight, he said.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I says, I feel all right.
Yeah.
So I drove straight to the Royal, told them the crack, put me in a bed, lay there all night. Next morning, red lighted the city. I had sliced my liver.
Wow.
And the blood
slice your liver?
Yeah.
And was there any pain from your liver?
No. So this is where the blood was coming from.
Yeah.
This is panic stations, and they waited all night.
Yeah. So I think it was like 6 o'clock the next morning. They transferred me over to the city. And then the doctor came in, right, with 2 options. If this starts to sort itself out, and if it doesn't, it's surgery.
Yeah.
So I'm going, right, okay. So then I'm pissing all Monday morning. And the more I'm looking and going, that's starting to clear up a wee bit. Hopefully we're
More
going the right
like
road.
a rosé.
It went from red wine to rosé, and then by the end we're on the white wine. I thought, So luckily enough, I just kept drinking, flushing, and
Yeah.
by the afternoon, it had sort of started to
cure yourself.
cure itself. So they were like, "Look, we're going to have to keep you sort of under wraps here for a day or two, and then obviously you'll be transferred back to the Royal." So it was all worrying about the bib and bleeding, and the leg was forgot about.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I have got a broken leg. I don't need to get back over and get that sorted."
Get back to business with that.
Back to business, and sure enough, flipping another frame on.
And would that have been like the first time kind of within your race and you're like, I'm scundered with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, was that the first time?
That was the first time. Like any other injury, it was like, many weeks have I got here.
Yeah,
I get back. At that point, I knew the season was done. Whenever it was the laser off before, I knew the season was done. I thought, it's done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm fed up.
At this time, like, you would have like been pretty like successful. Like, you would have had a lot of championships under your belt. Like,
Well, to make it worse, that was 2015, the second time I broke that leg. I had done more or less most of the tracks. Was it round 3, round 4? Is it 3 or 4 of the Irish? And I had 3 Ulsters. And then there was like the Brian Bell and a couple of memorial races. And I think up until that point that year, I'd only lost one single race.
you're nearly in the form of your life, though.
I felt like I'd spent the whole winter of 2014, start of 15, just for once ever, just focus on corner speed.
Yeah.
And I just pulling the higher gear. As I entered the corner, instead of shifting down, I was going up.
Right.
And I was like, I have to carry corner speed or the bike's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I was carrying more in and working it, and it just clicked. So then when I went racing, my visualization was faster.
Yeah.
So I could go down the gear and be confident to make it work, as opposed to, if this doesn't work, I'm going to lose time. So I raced the way I knew how to race, but it was actually spent the whole time practicing building corner speed, which it just worked.
Yeah.
And whether it's all down to that or having a good bike and everything else, but everything just fell into place.
Yeah.
And then you suppose you kind of go in hindsight, right, that was 2015. I had basically ticked the box on every track nearly in the country. And I was like, was that the sign to say, you've done it all, you've got the t-shirt, you've said you're done, park it.
Yeah.
But my attitude then, frames off and pains away, I'm done. But here you're going, you're not done.
Yeah.
It never really goes away, does it? Like,
And I kept saying, no, I'm done. And I was going to go full on cycle mode because I'd started doing a lot of racing.
yeah.
You know, and it started out the year, was it the start of 15 maybe? I'd started doing open racing. Won the first Cat 4 race, which is like, I suppose your grade C race. So won the first race, was third in the next one. And I ended up, then I was in the A3 and done a couple of A3 races, and I was like, I'll put all my effort into this, because I never really could fully focus on it, because it was like, you're maybe at the gym and everybody else is out cycling and you're like, no, but I have to go to the gym to do A, B, C for the biking.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll give this a full stab and see. And I remember broken leg, went to watch like a town centre race in Bangor.
Right.
These guys were hammering down the main street, round the bottom, 2 boys collided. One veered off, hit the back of a skip and went through a car window.
Oh.
And I'm sort of going, so I'm leaving this dangerous sport to go to that one, where you're just wearing a wee flipping tin hat and a bit of lycra. And I thought, am I any safer doing this than what it was? So then as time went on, I was like, what'll I do? And then I went and watched the KTM test day, you know, the new bikes come out, and KTM had brought out a new model, and I was all like, I want to try that bike.
Yeah.
If I don't, I'm going to regret it. And I come home and it said to Sarah, the wife, here's me, I'm sort of not wee fire's lit again.
Yeah.
He says, oh no, I've sort of got my head round it, you're stopping. And I says, I know. And then Ricky Watt had said to me, like, am I including you in KTM budget for 2016? And I was like, I don't know, Ricky. I'm not sure. And then he said, well, sure, there's a 250 sitting in the shop here. Take it, do a day, and if you want to come back, we'll see. And if not, no harm done.
See what you think.
Took the 250 and had a day and thought, yeah, that was a bit of fun, but I need a 350 because I'm going to be racing it to see what it's like.
Yeah.
So he gave me a 350 and I went, that's what I remember there. That was fun.
You fell in love with it.
So it just said, sure, here, look at what I've come back from, broken leg and the bleeding, and I sure can't get hurt any worse. Let's go again.
And the pain's away. So
everyone's go. Let's just go at it. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose because I hadn't fully committed to it then in 2016, I started out and it was like, the bike turned out that, in my opinion, wasn't as good as what it should have been or what I thought.
Right.
You know, I struggled to get a good setup with it.
Okay. The 350?
Yeah.
Right.
That year, I could ride it in a hard pack because it wasn't rough. So I was in the hunt in the hard pack, but any day I went to Desert Martin, a track that I could have took it to anybody on most days, I was riding around 5th, 6th, you know, half a lap or more behind, scratching my head going, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And every day in the sand, it was the same thing. Just couldn't get it to work in the sand.
Do you think it was that wee niggle in the back of your head just, or?
I don't know, it just felt really uncomfortable on the bike. So then I was just like, all right, well, I've made my bed. I need to ride this year out in the 350. It is what it is. We'll see what's coming after that. And different times then, I rode a 450 Yamaha one day at Athlone. And it was like, fuck me, this bike's class.
Yeah,
it handles, it handled like a dream.
Right.
From what I'd been riding.
Yeah.
Within 2 laps on it, a lot of the competition were out the same day. And it was basically 2-3 seconds faster in it than it was on my bike.
On your own bike.
Consistently, and I'm going,
And easier.
this is fun. So then my head was fried. I'm like, do I go for Yamaha? Because it's somebody saying that they would sort me and get me a Yamaha. And another fella had said, yep, I'm going to get you and help you with 450 KTM. And this was a new guy that, yes, he was in the sport, but this guy was like, he was going all in.
Yeah.
You know, like he had already, before I even got hurt, he was band flipping, helmets, gear. He had 4 or 5 sets of gurney boots sitting for me. And
yes,
he was full in. And at that point, I was still not even, yes, we're going down this route or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, but he was already going at it
And
before
you were still
I got
sleeping
hurt.
on it, sort of
Well,
thing.
I was still sitting going, I don't know what I'd want to do here. Whether I want to go 450 KTM or 450 Yamaha. You know, and I ended up, I sure didn't have to worry.
Yeah.
You know, I ended up not having to worry about whether it was a flipping 450 or not, you know.
Yeah.
So it made life a wee bit easier that I didn't have to figure out the situation that I was going to have to say no to somebody.
Yeah. So, how did that come about then? Was it just the training? Was it a training day?
Aye, it was literally, it was on our, oh, do you mean MXoN, sorry?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right, no, it was a race. So it was down at Athlone.
Yeah.
And I'd been, for strange, you know, obviously it's 3 or 4 hours down the road. So that year there was like a lot of practice days down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I was sort of enjoying it. And I thought, I was down there 3 different days riding it.
Right.
That's where I had been down riding the Yamaha.
Yeah.
I loved the Yamaha. And there was a lot going down because it probably is still one of the best tracks about. So I'd been like, drove 4 hours down there to practice and, you know, it was a good enough day and all the rest of it. So that was the Irish Championship that I do. There was that same year, earlier in the year, there was a race down there, it was the Service Championship, but it was an English-based championship.
Yeah.
And they had come over to do this round at Athlone.
Yeah.
Well, it was
I
on the
vaguely remember that as well.
yeah, it was on the same weekend as the British Championship was at Desert Martin.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't ride desert for shit that year because my bike was shit, I thought I'm not going to do a one-off British Championship race to ride around like a donkey. So I just said I'll go and do this a service. And I went down and had a good weekend. Dickie Bird, the other fella that raced over here, me and him ended up both down at it.
Right.
And you know, it was like splitting wins the whole weekend. I think it was, he ended up getting the overall. He won 3 and I had won 2. We were both in 350s that day. So I had been down there probably more that year than I would ever been, you know. So it was round 6. I think it was round 6 of the Irish that year. Do you know, and obviously first race felt like I rode and flipping shit out and finished 3rd.
Yeah.
Do you know, and obviously
Still on the 350.
yeah, the 450 had a slight advantage.
Yeah.
I couldn't struggle to get out of the gate as good that year, and just the bike to me, even though it was a new model, just didn't I didn't think it was as good.
Yeah.
After a couple of races, somebody said, "Do you want your old 15 bag?" And I said, "Please give me a bag."
Yeah.
It was far better bike.
It was just something
It
flat,
handled
something
far
missing.
better. It just seemed a stronger engine package too.
Right.
Yeah, it just wasn't as good. I think KTM had put more emphasis into their 450, that developing it.
Yes.
Because that was the first year Dungey in America was on it, and they'd made like this lighter bike and all. It was all about the 450.
So they just sort of.
I think all they'd done with a 350 was sort of try to give it the look of the 450, but
Yeah,
it just was missing something.
Just threw it together.
Aye.
And then
450. 450 was all they were worried about. So like I say, the first race that day was third, and then I think the next one was either third or fourth too. And getting into the last race, you're sort of like, right, we had the van packed, and it was like, get the van packed.
This is it.
Up the road, I had, right, I want to get home, want to get the bike washed tonight, whether I'm standing in the flipping pitch dark.
Yeah.
I always like to I hate leaving the bike day. I was flipping Monday. So I wanted to get the bike washed because Davey Mulligan had asked me to do a training school at Cornerstone for him.
Oh, right.
On the Monday. It was either the Monday and the Tuesday or the Monday and the Wednesday, something. So I was like, right, go to work, come home, drive straight to Lawrence. So I'm already wheels turning, thinking, need to get up the road. And I thought, at best, this day I'm going to be third overall. Because the first two were first two in both races. So I was like settling for, I needed to make sure I finished third overall. So come out of the gate fourth, and about 3 corners, everybody was just following in round. There was a real tight rut on the inside. So the 3 in front of me went round. I thought, fuck this, I'm going to outround them. So I ended up out round, and I was up into third, and you came down the next wee straight and turned into a right-hander, and then it was like the scrub jump where my accident happened. So I knew the boy I had just passed, he was coming down the left because that was the race line, and then everybody swept across and hit it on the right. So I backed off to try and not let him get up the inside of me.
Yes.
So I had the line covered, but he still pushed on. So as he pushed on up, I was in the middle of the track, and I was just launching it, knowing he's going to try and pass me back here.
Yeah.
So I launched out off it, and he tried to sort of scrub. But as he sort of scrubbed, his bike caught grip. And as he caught grip, instead of him staying that way, his bike then straightened up, and he just flipping straight into the back of me. So as I was taking off, my bike, I could just feel it going like this.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh shit, because it wasn't that it was a big jump, but you were dropping into a big pit.
Right, okay.
So I dropped down in, and as the bike came around like that, he came down on me like this.
Ooh.
So I'm lying there, and then the next thing, I'm lying there, and at that point, obviously it was happening that fast.
Yeah.
Everybody was coming behind us. So I was lying here, and next thing I ended up over here.
Oh. Just getting hit by...
Just getting collected by one or two of the bikes. But obviously, the impact happened straight away.
Yeah.
So then, I was lying at this side of the track, and it was just weird, because I ended up face down. So I was like, head into the, into the sand. And I'm going, right, what the fuck's wrong? Why can I not get up here?
Yeah.
I couldn't, couldn't even lift my head.
Right.
I couldn't twist, but my legs just felt like somebody had just lit them on fire. And it was like this tingly feeling, but they wouldn't move. So I could feel them, but they were on fire.
Yeah.
And you didn't have any
I had a
control.
ring of fire here,
Oh.
right round my chest. It was like on fire. So I'm head down, trying my best to get round, because then you're going, is anybody going to come and even know I'm lying here? Because I'm lying face down.
Yeah.
And then obviously the paramedics came, and I think Sarah, my wife, was one of the first there.
Right.
And I said, I can't feel my legs. And then they came and they spun me over onto my back, and like this bit was burning really bad, and it was sore, and I thought, fuck, what's this here? And I kind of knew, I was like, oh shit, my legs aren't working here.
Shit.
And at that point you're like, is this...
Did panic mode set in?
No,
No?
not... I suppose it's you're sort of trying to process it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I wasn't like, oh shit, I've been lying on the track before, and you kind of think at the hospital you get sorted out,
Yeah.
put a plaster on, away you go, whatever it is. So then they ended up, they got me turned over, and they were trying to get the flipping helmet off, and I'm lying there, can't move, and they're going at Sarah, and she's trying to tell them, release the straps here to get it out. And
Yeah.
they're pulling and
On the cheeks.
hauling, and she's going, don't fucking do that, you know. They didn't know at this stage how bad it was, you know, even where the level one thing and another was. So then they ended up, they put me into, once all this, obviously the race was done then for the day, so they got me onto a stretcher and put me into like this wee Land Rover thing and took me across the track. And I don't know, at that point I was like, no way, when you have a broken bone, you're like, oh, this is going to be sore bumps. You're going across, and I'm going, fuck, this isn't really sore. I just wonder why not.
Yeah.
Because you're still in your head, you're not really thinking,
Yeah.
what is this? And then,
And your body's still trying to slow down. And
yeah. So for me at this point, I was fully, let's say, with it, normal. And
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And then I could hear, at that point, they took me over and doing all their stuff in the ambulance. But for me, it just seemed like it was happening like quickly. And then all of a sudden, then I was put into a helicopter.
Right, okay.
And whatever they had started to flip and feed me in the ambulance must have been blowing my head.
Right.
Because apparently the tunic didn't land at quarter 8.
Right.
Well, the racing was about 3 hours before this.
Oh, really?
Oh, so
So I
you
was
just
in
felt
the
the time
ambulance.
just went.
So time to me just
You thought it was 5
2
minutes?
minutes was flipping 2 hours, do you know, and I was sitting
Right.
there going, right, flip me.
You set up on ketamine and fucking
I
whatever.
don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
I remember getting into the helicopter and I was lying there, and you know, you could hear the flipping,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the propellers going around, and it was like in and out of, you know, nearly like consciousness.
Yeah.
And it was like 1 minute you're in the helicopter, next minute I'm out of it. And then after that, I don't know what they're feeding me, but it blew my head.
Yeah.
Because I got
I
the
got back on
operation.
the phone to them.
Aye, well, that's funny. The scary bit about it was I was rushed straight to theatre surgery that night. And apparently it was an 8-hour surgery or whatever.
Yeah.
So from that, then I woke up on the Monday and I started looking about. It was as if I was just in the back storeroom. This is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I doubt it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I ended up 3 days. I started coming round, feeling not too bad. And then the doctor came in. He says, we've just done a scan there and all the screws in your back are all loose. So sorry to tell you, but we'll have to go to surgery tomorrow again.
Right.
I was like, oh, fuck this. No, I don't want to.
There's screws in your back.
See, I've
Yeah,
got 2
excellent.
plates down each side of my spine,
Right, yeah.
and all the screws then are into each vertebrae. So all them screws came loose.
Right.
In that short period of
And
time.
them 3 days of me lying on my
Right.
back, not moving. Whatever they done, I don't know. But they
Not
came
enough
loose.
Loctite.
No, not. I tell you what, they needed a bit more because the flipping screws are about this length. How they came loose, I don't know. So then I had to go into surgery again on the Thursday, and after that second surgery, blew my head. As in, see, for weeks, I remember lying in the bed, and I could feel somebody doing this here to my arm, and I kept saying to Sarah, "Who is sitting there?" Because I couldn't turn my head.
Yeah.
See who it is. Tell him to stop hitting me in the
Yeah.
arm. She says, "There's nobody there,"
Wow.
Oh,
and I'm like, "Well, I can feel somebody hit me in the arm."
Yeah.
And then people were coming in to see me and say I'm lying here and you were sitting. Next thing I seen this big fucking bolt of lightning straight across the room and go through your head. Yeah. And I'm going, what the fuck?
you're tripping
And I was
balls.
tripped out to the max.
Brilliant.
And I was watching all this and going, what's going on here? Do you know, and then every night for what they'd put a drip up my nose, you know, feeding me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every night I woke up and pulled it out.
Ugh.
One night I woke up and the 2 nurses were holding me by the hands, don't pull it out. Pulled it out and it was sore.
Oh, jeez.
And like why I was doing it, don't know.
Did you ever work out what drug this was?
No, I don't know, but I can tell you what.
It must be like a mad morphine or something.
I honestly don't know. I've never experienced it like it.
You know what? It probably when I was in hospital, you know, what, they were giving me codeine, but it turns out I'm allergic to codeine,
Right.
and the only
Oh, it
thing
could
it
have been like a
does,
fluid reaction.
Well,
Then.
only thing it does is make space. Like I was having tea with the Queen.
I
Michael
laugh.
Dunlop behind us.
Wait to hear this for a cracker. You having tea with the Queen. See, when I come out of the second surgery, I had to see the way I have this tracheostomy, the hole.
Oh
Yeah.
So my first surgery, I didn't have that.
Right.
So my second surgery, I woke up with a flipping tube in my throat.
Holy shit.
And they had this like filter in, which meant I couldn't talk. So for the first week, 2 weeks, they kept taking this out for half an hour a day. and that's all I could speak.
Wow.
So I'm coming out of surgery, and I see Sarah, and there's me. They're trying to kill me. So she's freaking out, going, "What the fuck's going on here?" And because I couldn't speak,
Yeah.
so I was laying in recovery, and how spaced out I was. I thought I was like all these doctors were running this illegal toy factory under the hospital, and because they were making all these illegal toys, they needed somebody to operate the electricity through pedaling. So I was in this recovery room, and they had me sitting pedaling to keep the lights going so that they could work. And I was getting to the point where I was lying going, I can't do any more of this. They're going to kill me. So as soon as I come out, I said to her, they're trying to kill me. So then she was so freaking out, trying to get to speak to a doctor, going, what's he talking about? You're trying to kill him. She thought they had been trying to do something to me in surgery to kill me.
Holy shit.
And I was convinced that I was
sitting
sitting with this flipping arm pedaling to keep the wee light going for them to see what they're doing.
Keep their legal
and this was all
going.
underneath the flipping hospital. Aye.
You were definitely allergic to something, I
There
think.
was something, I can tell you what. So see, from that, I was like, if they mention surgery, I'm
No
not
chance.
doing any more. I was like, forget about
That
it.
is one of the maddest things I've ever heard in my life.
An act.
And then, obviously, whenever I was in Dublin too, I spent 7 weeks there because they needed to get like a paramedic, ambulance, and a paramedic. So every time they could get an ambulance, they couldn't get a paramedic.
Oh,
and then
right,
the
okay.
paramedic was ready, but the ambulance.
Right,
so I was
okay.
there for 7 weeks, and there was, I don't know, like some sort of travelling community man or something in a bed beside me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I had spent my time like this, landed in the hospital, didn't know how I got in the hospital, didn't know where I was, what it was, one thing another. If you'd have says to me, right, you have to get yourself out of here, didn't know where I was going, didn't even know what direction. So one of these nights then, there was about 40 of the travelling community appeared, all trying to get into hospital.
Oh shit.
To this man to see him.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to all this confrontation, and they're panicking, trying to get doors locked, and
Bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah, and you sitting there.
and
you
I'm
can't
going,
even,
if I need to get out of here,
You're
I
not
can't even tell you what way I need to go. So I'm bricking it, going, what's going to happen here? Me in ICU, not knowing where I am, one thing another.
not really moving that well.
Not
either, like.
flipping, I wouldn't even have been able to flip and blow my nose, let alone get out of the flipping hospital. So I can tell you what, it was freaking me out at that point, because I'm going, I don't know where I am. I don't know even where to go to get out of here. All I knew was I was in Dublin in the Matter. After that,
In an
I couldn't
illegal
have told.
toy factory.
I think the toy factory by this stage was sort of shut its doors, and it was maybe forgot about.
It went bankrupt.
They needed somebody to operate it, and I wasn't for doing anymore.
You
No,
were clean burnt out.
and then obviously for them first, I think it was a couple of weeks, I wasn't allowed any fluids through my mouth because of this tracheostomy, and they were scared of me choking.
Yes.
So they give me this wee glass and a wee like sponge, like a wee. The sponge was on a stick.
Yes.
And it was to wet your lips because they were dry.
Yes.
So one of the nurses that was in looking after you this day, I had convinced her to let me put a wee bit of blackcurrant in it.
Oh.
Just to taste my lips.
Yeah.
So she kept dipping it, and I was
brilliant.
sucking the life out of it. This is great. So I was suck.
That's a small thing.
Glass after glass after glass, because I was sucking the life out of it to get all the flipping fluid.
Yeah.
So the next day it was a different nurse, and I tried it with her. Well, within the first suck, she took the glass away and says, "You're not allowed to do that. That could kill you." I'm prepared to take the chance.
It's just a small thing.
Yes, and they wouldn't give me it. And I tell you what, see that first day that when they took the tracheostomy, they started to make it the hole smaller.
Yeah.
And I was starting the first day to get something through my lips. It's like, oh, this is heaven.
Yeah.
Why did they have that in your throat?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Because obviously you do see it with like neck injuries.
Yeah.
Now, the first time I was fine, but it's something to do with your breathing, because my level injury is your lungs and your heart.
It might have been swelling or something. Maybe.
I don't know, but I mean, it was just more, the first time was fine, and then obviously this was the next go of it.
And so, how long were you in hospital before you got transferred up home?
7 weeks
7
I spent
weeks,
in
you said?
Dublin, and
Yeah.
I remember one of the first days actually getting out of the bed in Dublin.
Yeah.
Fucking couldn't even sit up without passing out. Because I'd spent 3 or 4 weeks lying on my back.
Aye.
So every time they tried to sit me up, it
Vertigo
was
there.
like dizzy and nearly
Yeah.
blacking out.
You feel sick and
Oh, flip me. But then I kind of learned, hold on, you're doing this too quick. Because there were just 2 nurses grabbing a hand each going, 1, 2, 3,
up.
pull. And I'm going, you're going too fucking quick after me down there. So as soon as I got them figured out to slow down,
Yeah.
I was able to sit up all right then.
Yeah.
And I remember going outside for the first day, sitting out in this wee garden off the ward. And it was like, oh, feel that fresh air.
wow.
It was fucking
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
this is heaven right now. Because just after being stuck in bed, for
Yeah,
4 weeks or whatever, was just unreal just to get
Yeah.
out, and obviously at that point, there was no rehab so I was just in this big, massive, silly flipping chair, needing button pushed about, so none of the rehab work started till I got down to Belfast,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I had Sarah running every day after I got eaten. I was like, right, what do I want today? I have this notion for a McDonald's chip.
Oh, lovely.
Straight away, off she went. She must have walked about 3 miles. God, love her to get this chip. And then she brought it back, and I had 3 chips, and I was like, I'm full, I can't eat anymore. It's okay, don't worry.
Yeah.
And then the next day, right, what do I want today? Took this fancy notion for coffees and all this food, and it just didn't taste the
Couldn't
same.
have it. No.
Yeah, it took a long time to get the flipping
Aye.
taste everything back the way it should be,
Yeah. Yeah.
But she would have flipping dandered to court to get me it, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I suppose that made life a bit easier for me.
Yeah. They have to be strong too, don't they, the women? And
All flipping 100%. I mean, the scary bit for me, whenever we were there, so I was there 7 weeks. She stayed from day one, every day and night.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And she actually, a couple of friends that were involved in the sport, Jimmy Jones and Mary, they first week another friend, Mark McCann, he sort of got her a hotel, so she was staying in a hotel close to the hospital. So then after that, Mary and Jimmy had said, come and stay with us,
yeah.
because they had spare room. So they lived, was it half an hour just to south of Dublin? So obviously she had her car and all down then, but she was coming out of the hospital every night, and beggars, and people say it's a real dodgy part of Dublin.
Yeah.
So I'm still lying every night going, fuck, I hope she can get out of here, all right? Because I'm going
Right
to feel
enough.
guilty if something happens to her,
Yeah, yeah.
it's my fault, and I can't even go and help her. Do you know? And it was like flipping every night you're going, please get to the car, please get home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like,
text me or
Yeah.
Could you? That's the thing. Did you have a phone?
I
or did
had
you-
my phone, but obviously for the first lot of weeks, the phone wasn't even registering to me, anything
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it.
You're just.
Yeah.
Do you know? And then because there was so much, I think Sarah's like, he doesn't need his phone just yet, because
Yeah, be a bit
there's so much
overwhelming.
on social media and
Ah,
just the overwhelming and everything else. But obviously, I had my phone, basically after the first week or two that I could stay in touch with her, that I knew she was home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before that, there was one night I woke up in the 3 o'clock in the morning, and I looked and I could see the window,
yeah.
and there was like an orange light, and I looked out and had this notion that it was 9:30 in the morning, daylight.
Oh right.
So
you
I
thought it was the sun.
I freaked out, and I fucking buzzed the nurse, and I was like, where's Sarah? Why is she not here? It's fucking 9:30 in the morning, where is she?
Yeah.
The nurse was like, no, it's not, it's only 3. So they thought then I was getting distressed.
Okay.
So then they rang her
Right.
on the hospital phone.
Right.
I think I asked them to ring her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they rang her at 3:30 in the morning.
She sees this number going.
Yes, what the fuck's going on? Now, she did answer, and then she spoke to me. And at this point, I'm just acting daddy. Well,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Well.
Are you coming in today? She says, it's
What are you
only,
playing at?
It's
Come
only
on.
3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I says, oh, right, is it? I thought it was later. Oh, that's okay. I'll let you go back to sleep.
Oh,
And at that point, my head's still going around
Yeah.
going, it's 3 o'clock. I'm never going to make it the morning at this rate.
Yeah. It's gonna be a long night.
It's going to be a long night,
Yeah.
And I think after that, then I just for the crack pulled the flipping feeding tube out of my nose just to give
I
them
just
something
get
to
a bit
do.
of crack on.
Oh,
just to get the
But-
nurses wound up.
give them something to do.
See, like through all this madness and stuff, did you even was there even motorbikes on your mind, or was there anything race related, or was it just?
It's kind of funny because there was so many people in and out of hospital seeing me. It was kind of nearly like I hadn't time to think anything.
Yeah.
And, you get up in the morning, and at the start, you get up and got my breakfast, and Sarah would have been in, and next thing then I was fucking wrecked, falling asleep. And then such and such is coming this afternoon. And then right there coming, and you're thinking of them people, and then they're in, and you're cracking away, and then they are leaving, and I'm going, right, what do I have for dinner? Because I never ate in the hospital, one thing.
Yeah.
Sarah went down to the supermarket, and first of all she brought flipping all the cereals, 3 or 4 different variations. So every morning they would come in, what do you want? No, just bring me milk, I've got my cereal here.
Brilliant.
And then at lunchtime I probably never ate anything, and then at night, right, where are we going tonight? McDonald's, Eddie Rockets, the flipping restaurant, Chinese's.
Yeah.
And in theory I'm looking now going, fuck me, how did I not end up the size of a flipping oil
Yeah.
I think the only saving grace was I'd lost that much weight for them first couple of weeks not eating. I sort of allowed myself, because I think I'd lost 3 stone.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot, like.
I was allowed to overindulge in junk for a while.
Junk food and Chinese and stuff.
Like I never had one dinner from July to Christmas. Never once did I have a dinner in the hospital.
Wow.
Every night I was eating, flipping here, there and everywhere.
Yeah.
Albeit, yes, Sarah would have made dinner some nights and brought them up with her, and then we just hated them. But you know, it was like Friday night, right? Going to the chippy.
When did you get home again then?
I got home 2 weeks before Christmas.
2 weeks before.
And that happened 24th of July.
That's a long stint, man.
It is, alright. And I mean, it was like 3 stages, because I'd done 7 weeks in Dublin, and then I was transferred to the Royal. You couldn't just go straight to the rehab. So you had to go to the Royal first, which was meant to be like a small window of there and then over, but turned into 3 weeks. So I ended up staying in the Royal for 3 weeks, getting infections, and made it longer. And then once I got the Musgrave, and I knew it was 3 months, you know, rehab, I was like, fucking another 3 months of shit to do.
And you had to stay in the Musgrave?
Yeah. Now, as your time went on and you got relatively comfortable, you maybe, right, you got a day trip.
Yeah.
And then they would have come out and assessed your house, and you need to do this, you need to do that, and then as time went on, right, you can go home for the weekend.
Right, okay.
And you would have maybe get home on a Friday, and you had to be back in a Sunday night, and to be honest, the first couple of times I went home, it was like,
just stay here.
I didn't know. I need to get back to hospital.
Really?
You nearly lose your wee like confidence, kind of. I know what you mean.
Everything
like.
was easy. You know, you're lying in hospital, boom, had a ding. Doctor, come here, do that for me.
Right.
Whereas you're at home and everything's compact, and you don't hit a button and doors open, and you know, you're not strong and you're struggling with everything, and you're like, this is hard work.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, take me back there, because everything's easy. Just, you know, you're not annoying anybody in there.
But
whereas at home it was hard.
You were like officially signed out just, would you say, a couple of weeks before Christmas then?
It was weird, because the start of December, they sort of come round and were like, you're going to get home. Right, okay. And then the next day, you're going home today. All right, brilliant. You know, glad to get out. At the same time, it's like, oh shit,
but
this
still
is
panicking.
Well, especially at the start, because my muscle spasms were fucking terrible. They wanted to put a Baclofen pump in my stomach. It's like a cigarette lighter, or not, you know, like a cigarette box.
Yeah.
But it just sits in your stomach under the skin, and it drip feeds your spine with Baclofen.
Right.
Because what they do is they give you Baclofen in tablet form. So they give you, it starts at 10 milligrams. And then it's like 10, 20, right up the max dose is 120. So I was sitting at 100, and my spasms were still brutal. But at 100, you're like, you're really like bongoed, you know. It really, you're slow and stupid and drowsy. And they said, look, for the level you're at here, you need a pump.
Right.
No, fucking leave me alone. I'm not getting a pump. So that's why I had to stay longer, because at the start they were like, I could have went home a bit sooner than I could have. But because the spasms were so bad, they were scared to let me go with the transfers and everything else. Because one of the times that we were out one Saturday and we went into Victoria Square, sitting in the chair, the spasms were fine. But see, as soon as I went from the chair into the car to the chair, I threw the foot down. The next thing, it took off under the fucking car. 35 minutes it took me to get into the car. My spasms, I'm not joking you fucking like that, and you couldn't have broken.
Really?
They were brutal. So they're stuck under the door, me fucking flying forward, head button the sill, and I'm going, fuck this, I can't deal with this shit.
Jesus.
35 minutes, and I thought, I can't deal with this. I'm not getting a pump either,
No.
and I'm not going down this route of this fucking carry-on.
No.
And I just literally from then just worked my ass off, standing, stretching, doing everything I can.
Yeah.
And the spasm settled. And every year I go up to Musgrave. I haven't been there, I don't know when the last time I was up, but every time you go up, the doctor had been pulling at my leg trying to set them off.
Right.
There is have to say, you still need a pump.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Don't touch the leg, I don't need a pump.
Yeah.
You know, that was the sort of attitude.
Leave me alone.
And I got to be like the flipping from what they were. Like, yes, they're still there a wee bit, but see, like a flipping fly landed my leg. I remember going through Belfast one night over the cobbly streets down round, Cathedral Quarter.
Cathedral, yeah.
Flipping over, somebody was pushing me over the flipping bumps. Both my legs just decided they were straight. You know, like them big horse-drawn boys with the big...
Yeah.
I'm going along with these legs stuck going, fuck me, what's people going to think of this? Do you know, and I couldn't do anything.
I couldn't get them down.
Do you know, they were solid. It's like trying to bend a poker. And I'm going, fuck me, this is embarrassing, you know. And like I say, thankfully enough, they settled enough to the point that I can work with them. Do you know, if I'm busy and doing stuff and keeping active, they don't annoy me. But if you're, like I say, if I sat for 8 hours, 9 hours and didn't move a muscle, like I wake up in the morning, you wake up and you'd be a wee bit tight, not brutal like it was then, but you wake up in the morning and it's like trying to get yourself straightened up, you know, and just seizes up, need a wee bit of WD to get going in the morning.
You can work it and all still.
I know, like I don't ever feel off at me spasms are going to throw me on the floor like they were back then, you know. They're relatively good now, you know, but it's just part of the game, you know.
Did you ever have any resentment to the sport after?
Nah, never really. I think the hard bit probably after I got hurt, you know, I was still, I want to go and watch the racing, you know, and all that excitement was still there, even though I wasn't part of it. I still, you know, it was like, go, want to do this and want to be there and, you know, still feeling like you're part of it. But the hard bit at the start was, you know, you're going and you're in a grass field and you can't really, these things aren't really set up for grass fields. So, you know, you jump out, you're buried and you're sitting there going, oh, well, not moving here. You know, and then the year after I bought the wee van and got a quad, and it was like that freedom to, you know, I was relying at the start of people coming, wanting to talk to me. And people then at the start would have been probably going, if I go over there and what do I say? What, you know,
afraid to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not that type of person.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I suppose at that point I'm sitting, I'd love to go up there and watch, but I can't.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously the quad gave me that whole independence, and you know, I was going watching racing and let's say picking holes and everybody else, and it probably gave me a different perspective on it because I go and watch now, but I don't go and watch and go, he's fast. I go and watch what he's doing right and wrong and go, he could make himself better if he would change that.
Like a spotter.
More like
it's
that.
It's giving you a different angle.
It is, and like now, you know, working with different kids through the years, you know, and you know, you maybe feel like you've done something, and you know, I try this, and the kid does it, and you see a smile in their face, and you're going, do you know what I mean?
It gives you a bit more of a kick in.
Yes,
satisfaction.
It does satisfaction, and to be honest, that's kind of, you know, where I'm at now. If you know, if somebody wants, you know, a bit of help or advice, or I get more satisfaction if I see them doing what I've asked, and then they're coming in feeling the benefit and going, that is better.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because the problem you see, so many kids and dads nowadays, you know, the kids out on the bike and the dad's stand going like this, and I'm kind of going, you know, it doesn't matter what you do at 6, 7, 8, 9 year old.
Yeah.
It's learn your racecraft to make it when you are older. You've a chance of doing it right and being at a level.
Nearly perfected.
You know, nobody remembers who won the 65s 3, 4, 5 years ago.
He might.
Well, he might. Well, I could probably start too, but do you know, it doesn't have the same. Do you know, like some of these kids that you see through the years, and they're, you know, they're chasing 50 championships, and you're kind of going, you're driving and spending thousands going England, Scotland, South of Ireland, Wales, chasing something that
it's the next 10 years is going to be important, not
exactly.
this, but like,
you know, you can kind of go overboard too young,
Yeah.
and then you see the problem I find is they get to a stage of 15 they're fed up with because they've done it
Yeah.
for 10 years.
Burnt out.
They don't want to do it
Burnt out.
anymore.
Yeah.
Burnt out.
As opposed to learn as they go type
And
thing.
how do you do with the coaching? Do you select a couple of kids every year and try to work with, or is
I
it
mean,
just like
to be
a...
fair, for me, the way I've always worked it, I don't ever go out there and broadcast saying, "Oh, here I'm Mr. Superstar Coach, come and I'll teach you." I've always, left it that anybody that ever wants usually gets in contact with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you get ones like I've got, there's different ones there, and they've kind of been with me for years, which makes me feel good because then I feel like I'm doing something.
You're doing something
right with them, and people like that, then I feel heavily invested with. I'm the type of person, if you say to me, "I want you to help me," well, I'll give you my all if you're giving your all back.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not come and line my pocket with gold and then get out of sight.
Yeah.
I like to be, well, I'll help you as long as you want my help.
Yeah. Effort in, effort out.
Yes. And then I very much, and I've probably tried to taper back, I'd be very much at times was nearly wanting to get too in and,
Yes.
trying to, right, do this and go here, not that I ever would have, but just more, why is that person going there? And
Yeah.
not going here, or why are they doing this and not doing that?
So the inner motocross dad was coming out in you.
Well, that's it. I would have just been more thinking in my head, if I was doing that, I think you need to do this or need to do that. Or
Yes.
not that I'd ever have been putting that to them,
Yeah.
but I would have been just going, "Oh, you should maybe try that instead of that."
Yeah.
But then it's like, that's your choice. If you want to go down that route, you do that, rather than me saying you have to do this and have to do that.
Did you ever approach anyone? Like, say you're sitting Desert Martin, did you ever go, "Here,
Well, you
mate,
see,
I've
it's
seen
funny
you"?
if I, work different ones maybe that you are with, and maybe they come over and you're helping them. And I've seen different days I'm out in tracks, and you're maybe working with one or two, and
Yeah.
next thing you get the odd random person stopping, and if they turn around and says, "Well, what am I doing?"
What do you think of
By
that?
all means, I wouldn't turn around and go, "Here, clear off."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By all means, if I see something, if it takes 10 riders and you get one good one, by all means, we want to see somebody good coming through.
Yeah.
So if there's anything small, big, whatever,
And who are you working with at the moment?
Well, I've been working the last 10 or 11 years with a couple of the wee McCann boys.
Right,
I've always been helping them out, and I've a couple of the wee lads there that basically from Lisburn to Mackin fellas.
Right.
And I suppose they started out and they were only really playing football, and it was a wee bit of a fun hobby. And the last 3 or 4 years they started racing, and they're big into it now, and like they always want your help, want your advice, as do the the McCanns, and they're them two families probably have been two that have been with me more or less their whole racing times. And for that, anytime they ever want any help, I would never not give it to them, because they've basically put their faith in me from day dot, and everything I've ever asked of any of them to do. They're always want your opinion, they want to ask, they want your help, as opposed to, you get the odd one that maybe thinks, right, if I go to him for one day, he's going to turn me into a superstar,
right?
Which isn't the case. The problem you have is you start off and you see kids and they'll maybe come and, on the wee bikes, it's all this, and they come into a corner, sitting in the tank, don't even touch the brakes.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of going, right, well, before we even look at trying to get your technique good, we need to learn what the brakes are for.
Yeah, the basics.
Learn the basics and get them ticked off, rather than me going, right, we have a 3-hour window here and we need to get through 20 things.
Yeah.
Because a kid will maybe remember one thing. And that's why it's like, try and do 2-3 things a day and leave it at that and hope that they remember.
Yeah.
Rather than, right, let's move on to the next thing, we've ticked that box.
Yeah.
And then them going away and
It's a little bit more
Nearly forgetting
repetition. And
it is,
it's
and
the
that's
patience with them as well.
sometimes, like, I mean, I've even had kids coming and it's like, right, we're doing this corner and I want you to do this. And they do it, and they do it, and they do it, and you're going, you're still not doing it. Any chance here?
Yeah.
I'm getting bored. Can I go and do that jump? And I'm like, right, well,
No.
that's okay. Do you want to learn? Do you know? And I remember having a kid one time, and he was getting fed up with this bit of the track, but I knew the other bit was soaking wet and he wanted to go and ride it. So there's me, go ahead, you go ride it.
Yeah.
Rode into this big deep rut, buried the bike. This is crap. He says, I don't want to ride here. I says, I told you, but you were the one that wanted in here.
Yeah.
So I says, you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know
Dig
what
her
I mean?
out there, son.
And that's where it's trying to keep it that it is fun, that they don't think it's like
A chore.
a chore nearly
Yeah,
another day
yeah.
at school. But you know, it's trying to be the sponge at a young enough age to realise that what you have there and what you're getting is going to benefit you in the long run, rather than you just
Yes.
lap after lap after lap. Because I would say there's no sense you doing 5,000 laps around a track. You may as well do 100 productive laps
Yeah.
and learn something, as doing 1,000 laps and
Aye.
gaining nothing.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as bad practice, like.
Exactly. Well, I would.
You know what I mean?
My thing I always ask at the end of a day, right? You were out on Saturday, right? I wasn't there. What did you do?
Oh yeah.
Nothing. What did you try?
Just rode around.
Nothing. So all you done really was out there burning fuel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you
Waiting
know-
for it to click or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, and if you're not training, I would always say, well, you've done nothing. So see, if I was your competition, I know I didn't need to ride my bike last week, because you're not going to be any faster or any better or do anything different than you did 2 weeks ago, and I beat you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's the bit
Yeah.
where, you know, some
Are you
people
trying to still listen to these
yeah,
youngsters?
but some people think it's like, well, if I put 100 hours on my bike in 6 months, I'm going to be faster. The mistake you make in an R1, if you don't change it, it's going to be there in R100.
Yeah.
So what's the point in doing 100 hours? You might as well do 5 productive hours, and you'll get more out of it than you will 100. But some people just don't grasp it, you know. That's why I laugh at it, you know,
Yeah.
because I suppose in a way I could have been a wee bit like that at the time, where it's like, right, I must ride the bike on Wednesday, and then racing at the weekend, I must ride next Wednesday. And sometimes you were just going through the motions of riding because you felt you had to.
Yeah. But you weren't
Whenever-
actually doing anything
No, because
productive.
the last few years I stopped practicing. Once I'd done all like sort of the winter prep, when the season started, I was just Saturday to Saturday or whatever, because I thought, I'm at an age and I'm not really going to get much quicker. Yes, I can just keep what I have there, and I could do that from racing without having to, you know, hammer the practice track every week.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't feel any more than, I wasn't going to get any more than what I had through the winter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But, you know, I think there's just too many people now. It's like, if they're not in the bike 5 times a week, they think they're not going to gain.
They're not going to get
It
there.
comes in trends as well. We see it as well, that a lot of people like to spend a lot of time in Spain, kind of on the short circuit scene, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And they feel like they have to go to these card tracks and ride 600s around it and stuff. And it's just who's ever's popping on Instagram a wee bit more, because there's
Yeah.
you know, there's different horses for courses.
See,
There's more than one way
exactly
to skin a
that.
cat.
And I think it's a wee bit like that even now, you know, where Joe goes to this track, and because he won last weekend, the 10 other competitions think, right, I have to go to that track.
Sheep.
Yeah.
It's like sheep, you know.
Yeah.
If one's going to a track, right, we need to be at that track. Do you know what I mean? Because one of the last years I rode, you know, everybody would have been, right, it's the winter time, it's wet, we need to go ride sand. And they rode sand all winter. And then you look at the calendar, and there was one sand race all year.
Yeah.
And I spent the whole winter on the hard pack.
On dirt.
Whether it was flipping wet, dry, whatever, because I'm like, you could get a wet race, you could get it dry. So I was out every weekend practicing the terrain that I was going to ride 95% on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Good
people
practice.
still, well, it's like now, how many sand tracks have we got now in the country? You know,
Yeah.
there's
Not
more
many.
hard pack tracks than there is sand,
Yeah.
but everybody still goes sand.
Yeah. I feel like that sometimes with people who, the likes of us going to Spain.
Aye,
It's a great experience, but you're riding on billiard board tracks,
aye.
and then you're
And
coming to
temperatures, the
Coming to
temperatures,
Kyrgyzstan, it's like this.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're hitting you only think you got Ruppel's motocross, you go around Dadders, like.
Aye.
Dadder's whoop, that's what we call
Yeah,
it.
Dadders
Aye.
whoop.
But you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the same idea. You know, one
And we might
person
have
does
one
it.
dry race a year. Like, you know,
Aye. Well, I can sort of not really give an opinion that. The closest I could give you to that would be done Supermoto 2 years.
yes, yeah.
I done 06 on Splodge's 450 Yamaha.
Oh, right.
Aye. He gave, at 06 I'd done it in his Yamaha the first year, and then I'd done it on the plank company KTM the next year.
Right. Was this the P&O series, was it?
Aye, the Winter Series.
Did you ever think about like the short circuit route?
No.
Because I'm sure there was a lot of people you raced against, especially
Aye,
in your
did.
youth, that went.
I don't know, because you see, I mean, I suppose it's more now where people are all about going down a route to try and make a living. I think for me, I just enjoyed riding off-road. Because I mean, when I done the Supermoto, I loved it.
Yeah.
But I loved the Shield section at Bishop's Court.
Yeah.
Because there was it three, like there was three rollers turned right, tabletop, and then a double out.
Yeah.
That's, I done all my passing there.
Yeah.
And the first year I rode down there, flipping, Matt Stanley was the World Supermoto specialist. I was right behind him down into the flipping Shield section.
Yeah.
Over the first rollers, went down the inside, blocked past him, he didn't shut off. Hit the tabletop and he jumped off the track and broke his wrist.
Ooh.
Finished his year, and it was thanks to me.
The part-timer.
Like, yeah. And I was sort of like, thanks to me, but at the same time I was a wee bit like, you used to do motocross, you're experienced.
Yeah,
when
you
somebody throws a bike up the inside, because there was 3 like ruts, and he went to the outside to clear the tabletop.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I went in the middle. So I was here, and I was already past him. And he clipped the back of me and jumped off the track and broke his wrist.
Well, it's not your fault, really.
No, it wasn't really my fault. And he never,
basically ran in
never
the
came near me and never once ever said it was your fault. But you'd sort of think, why did he not back off? Do you know what I mean?
That's Supermoto was class that way, that you had the both disciplines come together and have this wee weird love child. Like race together in the winter.
Exactly. Now the funny bit about it was I think my first day I had was it 3rd and a 4th or something, and it was wet.
Brilliant.
So see, coming off the shale, it was pure slick.
Yeah.
Well, I could control the bike and I was good.
Yeah.
I knew I was slow on the tarmac, because see, whenever we went to Carcassonne then, flip me, Carcassonne started off, it was a wee bit wet.
Yeah.
And then it was drying out. Well, I was running the whole day in wets.
Is that right?
I was coming out of one of the chicanes and I could feel the whole thing.
Dancing.
I'm going, well, at least I know what it's doing, I can feel it.
Yeah.
And then it was always, I wonder could I went faster in slicks.
I imagine so.
But it was just like, you know what, I don't know enough to start into flipping worrying about it.
Yeah, because 95% of Carcassonne is it's tarmac.
You see the bit there along the bottom where you come onto the shale at Carcassonne. That corner's slippy coming out there, and I remember sliding, and she lost grip and threw me off.
Big high side.
Oh, aye, it was grim.
Did it grip on high side?
Oh, it did.
Oh, no.
End. You just felt it going, and poof, and I was like, no, get me back to the dirt, fuck this.
Get me back to the soft stuff.
Exactly.
Soft stuff.
Do you know? But I suppose later in life I would have been more curious going, do you know what? I wonder if I had ever had a go at it.
You probably could have translated. Could have been
the one ever time, not even that I was on a proper race bike. I remember my dad had a 600 Suzuki for the road.
Yeah.
I took it for a run down the road. It just felt really awkward or uncomfortable.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you know? I felt like, I don't know. It just felt like I was
stiff.
sitting wrong or something.
Yeah.
Do you know, whether it was the positioning of the bike or I just couldn't get myself into the right.
We noticed when any motocross guys come, they're nearly like sitting on the tank.
See, I felt like the seat sat like that, and I was just sliding down in. So I felt like I was sitting away down in. I was like, this doesn't feel comfortable.
I need to sit
for
on
me.
top of it and feel what's happening.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I just was like, no, that's because it's like you say. I remember years ago whenever Ryan Farquhar and different ones came, and you'd have seen them coming and doing practice days and stuff. And they would have been sitting in the back of my guard.
Yeah.
Kind of going
The head down and all.
and you're kind of going, no, that you need to come forward there, man. You're too far
There's
back.
no grip out there.
Do you know, and then they come into the corner and they're nearly like setting the knee out.
Yeah,
You're going,
yeah.
no, get the foot,
Yeah.
And it's just that, because even
Translation, man.
when it's done the supermotos, I remember the road guys came into the corner and they sort of had the knee bent and set out to the side.
Yeah,
the motocross guy had it out to the front. And you're like, you could always see the different similarities with it, and I suppose it's like that transferring back and forward, when they rode how they ride the bike and we would have rode how we rode the bike, which made it different. But I suppose like everything you would have adapted if you hadn't done it through time. I don't know, I always felt like, not that it was easier, because it's not, but I always felt, well, you've a wee bit less to deal with, where you're not coming in to pick a rut in a corner and different things. Yes, you have to set yourself up in line choice, which is not easy either. But I always felt, looking at it, I felt like it would have been an easier transition than going from road to dirt.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, of
Yeah.
course. But it's yucky.
These boys, it's yucky. But these boys can tell a mile away I done one of Gordy Crocker's days. He's with Johnny Ray at Desert Martin. And I done about 2 sessions or something. And I was trying my best to do anything I could, to not impress, but to actually make it round a corner without falling off.
Aye.
And I came in one time and it was Gordy came over to me. He said, "You're a road racer, aren't you?" He said, "Yeah." I can tell the state you're riding. Basically just laughed at me and walked off.
No, but
then
it is.
came
It's,
back. And,
it's like, the problem is it's, the road bikes, you're looking for sticky grip all the time. The tires nearly
We
stick
have
to the
grip,
road.
but you're looking for grip.
Yes, exactly. That's a better way of putting it.
see that grab on the front brake in dirt? It was
No.
alien to me.
It's like I watch even nowadays, and you see different ones there, MotoGP, and they're all front brake and next to no back, and I'm going, I don't know, I have the confidence to do that,
yeah.
Because I remembered even when I did do the supermoto, and it was at Kirkuson, and Keith Farmer was riding the Aprilia at the time, and I remember on the tarmac he came into the top. It was like a wee chicane we done, and I remember him coming in there, and he passed me into there, and I thought, I just about to stop there.
Yeah.
And he went by me, and I go, fuck, how'd you do that? Do you know what I mean? And then he just boom, and then it was in out.
Yeah.
And I thought, right,
It's just
okay.
how much you can actually load the front compared
And
to probably what you
it's
were used to.
probably getting the confidence to be able to do that, where it would take a bit of time to do it. Whereas in the dirt, too much of the front end, it's going to wash over you.
Yeah.
So it's that fine balance of not doing too much. But I liked in the supermoto, but even I would have been a fond lover of the back brake to get her set out a wee bit.
Squared off nearly.
Yeah. And you would have heard the chattering a wee bit, as you were trying to get it to turn, but maybe that wasn't the right way. But to me, I felt like it was sideways.
I could never grasp using the front brake. I hardly used it at all. And I worked up the road there, and I worked with a fella, Gordy Moore, used to race years ago. He done a couple of British championships as well, and he was good, and he just kept telling. He says every time I come into a corner, and you show me photographs and all, the front wheel locked, just grabbing a handful, and the front wheel's locked.
See,
he was
just
able
as
to.
you say that, that's what I even noticed when I try and get kids, even nowadays, who work in the brakes. See most kids in the 50s and stuff, they stand in the back brake like a plough, and they don't touch the front.
Right.
And then I'd be going, right, you have to get a feel
here.
for it here.
Yeah.
So in their head, it's like touch that, and they're going over the bars.
Yeah.
As opposed to grabbing and getting an understanding of what it's doing. And I've had ones then. You get them off the back brake and they go all front and forget about the back.
Yes.
They can go faster,
Yeah.
but then they're still not able to slow down because the front doesn't stop you in the dirt.
Yeah.
You just keep pushing on. So it's trying to get that understanding of both that they struggle with.
As you say, right back to starting when you're youngster, trying to get them to use the brakes, understand how you use your brakes properly, and that's once you get that into your head.
Oh, it's
the
a
rest
big
is easy,
thing,
yeah.
exactly. Because I even find when you see kids and they're going for their brake and their fingers don't nearly look long enough to reach the flipping lever.
Yeah.
So it's just back the throttle off and roll into the corner. And the bit that scares me when I'm trying to sort of teach people, what if that throttle sticks?
Yeah.
You
What
don't
are you
even
gonna
know
do,
where
like?
your brakes are to try and help yourself here.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're just going to ride this thing out
the
until
moon.
it stops. Like.
Yeah. Till
Do you
you're
know,
under
and
the juice.
that's the scary bit.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's not something that you see happening a lot nowadays with the modern bike, but
Low but never.
I would rather the kid know how to stop if they needed to,
Correct.
rather than we're going flat out and we'll worry about what happens if it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's always the fear of what if. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Is this a career sort of thing, movement for you, or is it more of a hobby?
it's more of a hobby.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it. As in I get a buzz out of doing it, and it gives me that sort of connection still with the sport. Without sort of riding a bike myself.
Yeah.
Because
Keeps you
apart
in
from
touch.
that, the only other thing I got roped into a wee bit a couple of times was commentating.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh.
Don't worry, I'm not coming after your job.
I was going. I'll get you a mic, no problem.
There's a couple of days, obviously, you know, obviously Roy's the motocross man, you know, Mr. Flippin', if there's a race, Roy's the man, you know.
Yeah.
And I think there was a couple of different days that he couldn't come or whatever.
Right.
And I'd been talking to Lawrence Spence and Sarah again, she got me roped into it. She had turned around and said something like, whenever he's sitting watching them bikes on the TV, he's blooming picking stuff up before the flipping commentator.
Before this,
Do you know, they're talking away and I'm saying, look, he doesn't even see, that's the wrong person. And I'm going, it's such, you know, so she told him, well, sure, he could do a bit of commentating. And of course, me being a yes man, okay.
Yeah, give it a go.
So I done it a day or two and then I'm like, here we go. But thankfully, Roy's flat out, and so I sort of was like, I'm not stepping.
It looks a tricky job. I wouldn't want his job. Like,
it's the one. Well, the one thing I noticed with it, probably people underestimate how not tough, but it's a busy day.
It is a very busy day.
You know, like I found like when I'm doing it, you know, like I've done it a fair few times now in the last couple of years, and you're talking one race right through and then it's over and it's like, here we go again.
Straight on
the next race.
It's 8 hours of constant,
you're just
sometimes 12.
Constant talking, you know, you don't get a flipping a minute to breathe. And then you're like watching the timing screen, watching the start, watching, you know, and trying to keep up with it. Like
Need 10 eyes in your head.
One of the best days I had with it, I done it with Roy. We done the Portrush Beach race.
Right, okay.
And obviously not saying me and Roy, but see, just having that extra person there
makes all the
give
difference.
you a wee bit of a break. Do you know, so I would sort of fall in with Roy and then take him around this bit, right, and you knew then work where you pass it over, and it worked a treat, you know what I mean, because then you weren't constant.
each other.
That's what I like. I like working with Jack Corey and Chris Kinley and stuff, you know, you can just
you can work off
you
them.
can get a wee bit of a break, like, and then the day seems really easy.
It does.
But it's good fun, isn't it?
Well, see, funny, obviously I got a lot of good feedback. We done one of the youth days a couple of years ago up at that new track in Seoul.
Yes.
Do you know, and there was some good racing for the kids. Do you know, and Roy was getting worked up and we were keeping the thing going and everybody couldn't believe, you know, how good it was. Do you know, because obviously Roy was watching the screen and then I maybe picked up that there was somebody had passed him and then when it came and you're back and forward and like you said, just took the pressure
people
off.
Going too, doesn't it? It really
it definitely does,
yeah.
you know, and I wouldn't say, I'm a good voice for it, but I sort of feel like I can pick up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Do you know,
Color commentator.
Brilliant.
That's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, an expert opinion on it. Like.
And I didn't mind that, but I fair play to somebody that does it weekend.
That's good to hear, but because like, there's not many. We're a dying breed.
No, 100%. And I do find, like, see there,
and there's no one coming in.
See at a race day, there's nobody there. Like, you know, it does. Like I find there, you know, one of the clubs in the off-road, like they never have a commentator.
Yeah.
And you know, don't get me wrong, it's not that it's dead and there's no atmosphere, but you know, the racing's going on and you don't know what class it is, you don't know who's doing what unless you're watching it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
unless you're invested, but if you came into the game the first time, we're like you'd be disoriented.
You'd be sort of sitting going, what's going on? Who is this? What is this?
Eyes and ears.
Do you know, it definitely lifts it, and you do need somebody that sort of has an idea of what's going on. Because I remember different years ago, there's maybe we club races and then maybe just pulled in some local. Number 102, that's John there.
Reading down the...
you know, until they find it out.
Yeah.
Do you know, and that was the one thing, obviously, I always sort of been involved. You kind of know.
You have to make sure, you know. Nearly.
And I would know that it's always through the years knew the boy in first, the boy in fifth, the 10th, you know, from being involved in the sport. You know, which you do need somebody like that, but there isn't.
Well, Roy's, I think, he's been talking about it for ages, about hanging the mic up, like.
But here, I tell you what, they'll be lost if they don't have him, like. You know, because Roy has been the voice for flipping years, and he knows everybody. He does every track. He knows every corner, every bike that's out there. You know.
Yeah.
To get somebody to fill his flipping shoes, are going to struggle. Like.
It's going to be a big task, like.
Definitely is, like.
Is it time?
I think it's near time, man.
It is time.
It's been awesome having you here. It's been a brilliant podcast.
It has.
We do a question. Have you listened to any of our podcast yet? No.
Do you know, I have seen them, but I'm not going to lie.
You haven't seen the last bit, have you? You haven't seen the end part?
No, I haven't.
There we go. No one watches.
Or the beginning.
Or the beginning.
Or the middle.
Up until about, what, the last 6 months or a year ago, podcasts to me were like, nah,
Alien.
that's something I'm into.
Yeah.
And then I started watching or listening to one in America, you know, where it follows the Supercross pulp.
Yes.
So
Right.
I'd been sort of what it used to be whenever I was driving up and down to Dublin to go to the
Yeah.
walking machine. I would have flick the podcast on. It's 5 hours, 2 hours down, halfway back up.
Yeah, yeah.
and it was always sort of following that weekend's racing and stuff, and
Yeah.
I would have listened to that.
Yeah.
Do you know, and then it's sort of that's the only podcast I have to confess
Yeah,
to ever
yeah.
really
I've
listening
been
to.
invested into, yeah.
And then at the minute, because I haven't been going to Dublin, I still flick it on and I go into the garage when I'm on
Yes.
my hand cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I put the earpods in and just cycle away in the
Yeah, and
garage.
zone out.
well,
Zone out. That's what they're
I zone
made
out a
for,
wee
like.
bit, but I can't because I've got a boy standing beside me,
Yeah, yeah.
watching me.
Oh, right, really?
When you
Yeah.
see when the wife's working. That's
Oh,
why I
yes,
have to do it in the
yes,
garage.
yeah,
Yes,
son, yeah.
right,
So-
got you.
It's bad to say, but like he knows the routine.
Yeah.
I'll say, right, do you want to go out here? And I'll go out, 2 or 3 days a week, and he comes out. And as soon as I jump off this, he jumps on the foot plate and stands, and he'll flick onto YouTube, and he flicks YouTube in my old phone.
Yeah,
And I've got the podcast going in the bike beside.
And everyone's happy then.
And as soon as then I'm finished, he go, all done.
Yeah.
Aye, that's me. And then he knows to bounce off and let me on.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
we've got a good routine going. So that's
Good
about the only
routine.
time I ever get to listen to him
To the
now.
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we ask a question we ask all our guests, and it's a very finale one. Obviously, you've been about racing for most of your life, and you've been in British paddocks, you've been in national paddocks, probably been in world paddocks, everything. Who's the biggest nutbag you've ever met for your racing?
Looper.
Nutbag.
Head
Live
case.
wire, like.
Oh, there's definitely a boy, and I guarantee you there isn't one person in the off-road paddock with this. I would agree.
Right?
Go
A
for it.
fella, Stephen White.
White Lightning.
White Lightning.
White Lightning,
Right.
Whitey.
Yes.
Yes, I know White
A
Lightning.
few years ago, he won the Irish Championship. And everybody swarmed to see what he was going to do after the race.
Right?
Was this at Seaford?
It could have been Seaford. He done it at Seaford, and I remember a couple of years before that, he won his first race down at Dundalk.
Yeah.
He came out over the line, threw the bike down, and started break dancing and doing this dance.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Like
White
he,
Lightning,
he was
bro.
on White Lightning, bro. And he went on to, there was a live feed one day at a British Championship over in England, and they had him on. And he was, I'm from Warringstown, bro. I'm coming over and I'm going to dominate. And he's a grade C guy, okay?
Yeah.
See, whenever he went to do a round of like a clubman British Championship in England,
Yeah.
there was more around his van than there was around the flipping top boys.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh,
They all
just a
thought
character.
he was
He's a character. White
absolute-
Lightning.
Does he
was-
drink White Lightning?
Oh, he drinks anything.
You when you're thinking of the same, he's a case.
Yeah.
He definitely
That's a good
Fair play
answer.
then.
That's a good answer.
I don't
like that
know
one.
anybody that's any more
Yeah.
matter than him.
That's
Fair
a good
play on him.
Yeah.
That is, I like that.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
Yeah.
If you're stuck, Stephen
Yeah.
White, you'll find
Stephen
him.
White. Wayne, thank you very much, man.
Not a problem.
Really appreciate it.
Absolute
Not a
gentleman.
problem. That was
Thanks for your time.
not a problem. That was a different
That was
night
good
and a
one.
good night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Happy days.